All right, everybody, welcome back to the next installment of DEFCON Aftermath. We're taking a look at my Storm Summoning 801 team run. We're going to be reacting to this set of missions for the first time, as well as going over the statistics in detail to figure out exactly what happened here with Scouring Sands, my fire control, storm summoning, energy mastery controller. Let me go ahead and swap over to the main screen here so we can see who is on this squad of crazies from FAFO Company. And our first contestant is our good friend Apocalypse, who's been, I think, on every single one of these at this point, Sicko. He's playing Vile Maiden this time round, who is a vet level 19 blaster packing Storm Blast along with energy manipulation and mace mastery. The one thing I'm curious about seeing is how much of this energy mastery does he actually use. There's a lot of melee strikes, punches in here, but I don't know if he's ever really getting into melee, especially on these 801s. We'll see. Because that could neutralize, potentially 50% of your damage, or at least your options. Then who's next? We've got our tank is Badger Bear. Let me jump over to him. Got another Vet 19 character here. This is our main tank. This is Epic's character. Epic's played a few of these now. Has tanked on, I think, each time he's played, he's played a tank. Uh, Energy Aura. Claws Energy Mastery. So he'll be taking the aggro, soaking the big hits for us. Then we've got, I think, making their first appearance on one of these lists with me, Cassie Walker. This is Linea's character, and Linea, if you don't know, that's the person who made these 801s, these Architect Entertainment, these incarnate level challenges. But he has not given us any insider info. He's just playing like any other Schlepp that joins the team here, although I imagine he knows a little bit more about what's going to happen than we do and recognizes certain scenarios. But he's got our highest level character here, vet level 98. We're playing a Veets here, and we've got the Crab Spider version of this. And then our last character we've got on the squad is our first, another first, and that's a Stalker. And that is going to be Nate Lightning, our lowest level of the crew, vet level 8. Probably maybe tier 3 in a couple things, unless he does like Heather Townsend type arcs to farm up incarnate components. But we've got Electro Melee, Energy Aura, and Mew Mastery on this character. So there you go. That is the squad of heroic fools that are going to take this on along with Scouring Sands. So let's see what mission we get queued up. An 801 2 tier 1 mission, 6034s here. It's probably going to be roughly in the middle of the pack as far as tier 1 challenges go. But what this mission is going to do for us, hopefully, is establish our baseline. Let's go ahead and get this video fired up. Move us into the loading screen. Here we go. So we enter the map, and we always, at least I always try when we get into the map, is that's what, hey, I want to buff up at this point. So let's see if we buff up, or we're just going to charge in. What's going on? This is kind of a bit of a dangerous map, dangerous entrance. One of these tech maps, because there's a room right down here. I can see the door to it, and a lot of times there are, foes right down at the bottom of this thing. And with these guys, these 801s, a lot of them have plus perception. They have targeting drones and stuff like that around them, so they're easily able to see you if you get anywhere near them, even with group stealth here with the Stevie Mist running. So let's see what happens if we get a chance to get our stuff together. Oh, their lead. Oh, I should get on Discord. Are we on? I see guys going down the ramp. I'm trying to figure out if I'm even on Discord at this point. And bam, we're in it. So ready, we've got action going on. So I don't think we even had a chance to really get set up here. I was barely paying attention. I think Badger Bear just went in there. You can see everybody's turning towards them, but I also see a group down here. And by the way, you could see the obscurement issue that specifically hurricane in this instance is causing. So you got my hurricane is shrouding this entire like lower half of my screen. So my visibility is terrible. I can only see this upper half of my display at this point. So that is gonna be probably an issue as we get into this. Also, when I start throwing out my other stormy powers, there's gonna be even more stuff flying around. The effects will be flying. So visibility is definitely an issue, not just for me, but for the rest of my team. Anybody else that gets in this cloud won't be able to see. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of like, zooming in and zooming out, maneuvering just to kind of get some sort of sight lines on things. I'll get on there in a minute. Yeah. All right. So boom, there's Badger Bear. It looks like he's taunting and pulling, and we got a second group down here. So we got like two groups, one up top, one on the bottom. And I just saw Nate like cooking in there with lightning rod. So Nate, he's got lightning, electric melee. So lightning rod's gonna be his teleport attack. Big old PB AOE. If I recall the stats, he's gonna get himself some kills as well as killed. So boom, he goes in there. So our two melee guys are in here already. This is probably not the most optimal uh, team lineup here, right? Usually you probably want a couple beefier people, your tank, another tank, a brute, something like that. Stalkers aren't going to be in there holding aggro. I think Cassie, the Veet, he can get in there and hold his own for a little while, but he doesn't have like a taunt or something like that, so he can withstand the fire. But he's got no way to get people to come after him unless he's shooting them with his debuffs and things. So keeping an eye on that. This is pretty much our front line here. And you got Cassie able to play backline as well because they've got bullets and guns and stuff and grenades to shoot. And then I know that my controller and Violet are gonna be hanging in the background. But bang, we're immediately in there. We got some of our buffs on from Destiny up here. I can see. So people have been clicking those as they go, and we're in it. We got a fight going. Some smoke on these fools. They got some aggro. Lots of guys coming up. Try to keep my shit together here. Oh, guy, all right, check this out. Guys on the left now are coming up. So we got group of foes coming up this way. We got the original group here, and you got this pack down here. So this is like a three-way action, right? They're coming in at us from the flank here. Our tank's not able to pick up all this stuff. There's just way too many things. Now we've got a mobilization here, and we've got a bunch of our damage is raining down here. These guys are pumping away at us. And we got two beefcakes in here. The rest of us are kind of hanging back. Here's Cassie next to me. So three of us are back, two of us are up front. And there's stuff coming from three different directions. Oh, nice. Hold on, guys. Hold on. And I haven't even established like what's going on yet. On fire. So I'm starting to get controls out now. We're taking it like a three-way, boys. All right, Badger Bear's down in the pit. Left, guys on the right. I'm just gonna drop some shit down there. All right, boom. So the one thing I do like that you can do with this combo is you can see I'm clicking it. Right, I can get Bonfire. I've already dropped Freezing Rain and Tornado. I forgot exactly where they are, but I've got the ability to drop kind of three big, I don't want to say bombs per se, but Bonfire, DOT. I've got the knockdown to the knockback to knock down in it. So I've got knock with that. You got Freezing Rain, you're able to drop on the same group. That's got some knock. That's got some debuff, the minus defense, the minus resistance. And you got Tornado that's got knock everywhere. And it's got damage. It also has minus defense. I think it can stun. Whatever. Right? I can drop these three essentially patches within one congested area. And if you throw a mobilize in there and keep them from moving, this stuff can just like lay into people and go off. So that's what you're going to see me trying to do a lot, not just on this mission, but a bunch of these missions, just dropping everything in one area. But check out the obscurement now. I mean, look at my screen. I think that's Snowstorm that's giving me or maybe this might be Vile stuff because he's got Storm Blast and that also has some cloudy effects. But I mean, the only place on my screen that's clear at all is like over here. Everywhere else, it's just clouds and obscurement and smoke. This is what I was struggling with the entire game. Was this? I mean, love Storm, but man, this gets thick. I don't know what the answer is. You know, if you tone it down too much, then I think you end up like Marine Affinity. I like Marine Affinity, but the effects are like barely visible. Like, and maybe that's good. I don't know, but it kind of doesn't really feel like there's water there in that set, in my opinion. Here, you've got storms, right? You can see it, and I purposely colored this to be this kind of beige, sandy dune, sandstorm look to go with his theme of Scouring Sands. But you pay the price because you can't see what the hell's going on. So boom, all right, we got all this action happening. Let's go. My problem. I just played my defender today, so I'm forgetting that I have controller mode here. Oh yeah, and at this point, I'm getting kind of confused exactly what I got because I had played my defender version of this character earlier that day doing a solo test and the build video with him. So I was used to that version of Storm. I'm like looking for my beam rifle buttons to click, and I don't have any. And when you play a defender, it's a different mentality. My controller, I want to try to get some control in there first, then throw in some of the storm stuff. With my defender, it's probably the opposite. I throw in some storm and then start shooting it with my beam, my blast set. All right, so it looks like we got this under control. All right, let's see what happens here. So here we go. Nice classic blind corner, right? So if you play the game long enough, you have an instinct for or a knowledge of these maps. So hey, we're gonna go this way. It's probably gonna open up over here, right? So I have an idea of what's coming based upon the layout of this map. If you've never played the game or barely played the game, you have no idea what's going on. But here's the problem with this scenario is, we've got this sort of zigzag pattern going. I'm back here. I got allies scattered, so I have no line of sight. So I can't support too well. I don't have line of sight support anyway, but like heals, that sort of thing. I don't have that anyway. I do have the only thing I can lay on an ally to help them, and arguably not helping, but inflame. So I can't throw that out there. But the other thing is I don't have line of sight of if they get in trouble or if there's an enemy somewhere. I can't throw any controls. I don't see anything. So there's nothing I can do if something goes bad. So that's the one problem with being a supporter, like a rear end, not rear end support, back end. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Backline supporter. Oh, yeah, this intersection. Okay, so check this out. I just come out of the zigzag, right? And so, came down the hall, came open, this is opened us up, but now there's like this little narrow doorway here, and I see my stalkers here. So there's Nate. I got Cassie just in front of me. I know Vile's right behind me. I can see myself. I don't see our tank friend. You can see he's already taking damage. So Badger Bear has gone around the corner. Okay, he's in here somewhere. And he's getting shot. So that's an immediate concern. Uh-oh. Is he stuck? Is he screwed? Do I got to dive in there to try to protect? Because I'd have to move up and open myself up to some fire if I get to this position where I actually have a sight line on him. So I hate this scenario where you come around and your tank or something that's already engaged the enemy. Sometimes you can't help it. It just happens. But sometimes if you get on these pugs, especially where they're just freaking running down the hallway, diving in group after group, whatever's going on, or it might not even be the tank, could be whatever, some blaster doing it. Just people are going off and you can't do your job because they're nowhere that you can see them. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, so Badger comes back. All right, so it looks like he was pulling him in. So Badger makes a good play. He comes back over here, breaking the line of sight with the bad guys, right? So they are now behind here. You can see one, maybe two guys there. But then my problem is now Nate has just disappeared. Where did he go? Nate, where are you? I see you're lighting up stuff. Hold on a second. Let me back this up. Nate's there. Cassie's firing debuff grenades. Oh, he's lightning rodding in there. Boom. All right, so Nate just goes in there as Badger Bear is coming back. All right, so we have a problem. We have a communication issue, right? Here it is. We've got our tank is doing tanky stuff, going in, taunting or whatever, and then pulling around. There wasn't any announcement of it. Wasn't anything on Discord. Hey, be right back. That kind of thing. It's something that as a team we have to get better at, or other people, who watch these videos are trying to get good. That sort of thing. That's an important little basic thing. Hey, be right back. Especially if you're going to be the lead tanky kind of person. So we don't have this information. Then it looks like Nate is thinking maybe what I'm thinking. Hey, it's on. We got to get in there. So we have our stalker then says, "Oh, we're engaging enemy. Let's get in there." So he's build up lightning rodded as Badger Bear's like, "No, I'm just taunting and pulling." Now we've just swapped one guy in danger for another. And as the supporter, I'm back here going, "Wait, well, who, what, when?" I can't get line of sight on enemies. Nate's still out of sight. Where is he? All right, control first, blast second. Gotta remember. And then boom, Nate's dead. I mean, how many seconds was that? Nate, you might have set a record. All right, so Nate, let's go. Let's back this up. So from the time Nate gets in there. Boom. All right, so Nate hits. Gotta get this down. I see if you set the 7-second record. All right, so Nate is going in. What's our time here? 8:43. So dives in there. 8:44, let's call it. Taking damage. Nate, are you gonna make it? Control first, blast second. Gotta boom. 8:54. So you blasted about 10 seconds. So within 10 seconds, it's lights out, right? There's nothing anybody can do, right? Your tank can't top off. I can't get any controls on them. Cassie can't get any debuffs. You're just boom, dead, out of sight. Nothing can do to help there. All right, so boom, Nate's down, and these things are just merciless. They don't. You don't have any. Oh yeah, of course. Any chance if you mess up. The other thing I'm noticing here that I want to point out is just I really like this positioning. So we've got these guys in this kill box here, and you can see I got my bonfires cooking. My imps are up here, at least the ones I can see. I think another one's gone around the corner or something. And I don't know if that's my freezing rain or this is something from Vile I can see. I forget what that's called, but I think it's my freezing rain's out there. My bonfire's going. My imps are attacking. I threw inflame in there. So I've got all my stuff cooking in this nice narrow area. And I'm pretty secure here because the only way they're going to get to me is if they come around to get line of sight on me. And at that point, they're in the thick of all my damagey stuff. I think my tornado's spinning around in there too, doing its thing. Yeah, tornado is active. Okay, so all my stuff is just going off. I'm trying to find Nate. Oh, they got a repulsion bubble pushing us back. Oh yeah, of course. Where's Guy when you need him? All right, boom.
Or Nate, he's our.
Nate's being brave. We're getting a ton of knockdown.
There's that nasty repel.
Oh, I love it.
Nate, is that your support stalker build? Right, so now they've broken through. So you can see how as soon as I kind of turn my attention, Files got their attention turned. Cassie's, we're trying to finish this guy who squeaked through, right? This guy right here. Meanwhile, now you got all this action coming through. Nate had gotten teleported out. So the only person we have up here is Badger Bear trying to hold the line. And it's just, you're not enough. And the Bonfire's doing a decent job of keeping things back. But, these bigger bosses at 54, EBs at 54, they're not as susceptible to the knockdowns and stuff, I don't think. So the only way we're getting good knockdowns, I think, is when we got stacked. All this KB from my storm stuff and Vile storm stuff and the fire. Then we're getting some good concentrated debuff, but soft control. All right, now we're getting pushed. So I activate Hurricane to try to push him back. Using Gale to push him.
think he's very supporting.
Energy torrent trying to knock him back.
He supports.
I mean, he does have teleport and 2 different kinds of res and a single target eagle.
Shit, he better stay in the back then.
Yeah, so Nate's talking about his support ability, but it makes a good point. We've taken advantage of this on multiple of these 804s now. Somebody on the team usually has a temp res power, and here's something I was talking about in my build videos. Why I rarely take the true res powers that you get from like support sets. It just seems to be a waste to pick because anybody with a few whatever thousand infamy or influence can go buy this temp power from the market, and it works just fine. So he's talking about he's got teleport and the temp res power, so he's going to serve as our emergency resuscitator. And as a stalker, he can be sneaky, hide, get in and out, get teleport you to safety. He's got a fast moving character, so I think it actually works pretty well with that in mind. Like if you're built around the idea of being like a support stalker with heals and rezzing, like, why not? That's kind of a cool idea. I've done some goofy things like that with my stalker builds. Now that would be taken to the extreme if you're relying upon a bunch of temp powers, but it's interesting. Like, hey, your stalker, get in, get out, hit some guys, do some damage, book out of there. Oh no, somebody died on the team. Teleport you out, res you, get you back up. He darts back into the fight. It can work.
Yeah, I'll get the zone.
All right, so we're clearing this, push our way through. Okay, there you just saw Nate do it again.
If you guys get me pissed, I'm gonna.
So Nate's really deep back there.
Blind everybody.
He's taking heavy damage again. Doing what he can, then books. Right, he's bobbing in and out. Stick and move, Nate. Stick and move. Oh, yeah, these guys are just getting smoked by all this storm stuff, just hammering them. Again, look at the obscurement on my screen. I can keep commenting on this all day, but look at this. Here's my lightning cloud right here, blocking the upper third of my screen. Hurricane and steamy mist and bonfire are kind of obscuring this bottom third. So you only got like this, narrow. It's like I'm looking out of somebody's mouth.
I will try to refrain.
Here's a good example of how when you don't have line of or sight blocking that it's dangerous. So we got this big open hallway. Nowhere to hide for us, right? There's some cover here, but you got, these guys are here, there's guys in here. Nate's here, Cass is there. I think Badger Bear's over in here somewhere, and Vile and I are coming up the rear here. So let's see, pulling up the rear. I'm gonna get flagged for inappropriate language or something.
If it's sort of your normal thing, like with Give.
All right, so we're starting to drop pain on them, but they've got a ton. Look at all those guys in the back. Bunch of guys in the back. They're currently shooting at Badger Bear, but this guy's looking this way. This guy's probably like, huh? I think there's another guy right here. So we got enemies starting to turn in our direction. Our tank can only hold so much aggro.
So he was able to use that.
Here comes the fire.
So I think in a circumstance like that, it's fine.
Badger Bear's taking hits. I'm taking hits.
And I disabled the phase because you said nothing like that.
Yeah, I'm just having a conversation with Lenny about like temp powers that are legal or not, or what I do in this scenario is if it's because you don't want these tests to be I don't say corrupted, but like determined by non-player forces. So if you're just going to the start venue, buying stuff that has nothing to do with your character just because you can afford it, and then just using 500 grenades and all these different, teleports and reses and shields and phase powers, and just, go down the list of everything just because you're essentially min-maxing the character. It has nothing to do with Scouring Sands, the Desert Demon. So that's what I mean by cheesy temp powers. So it's kind of a gentleman's agreement, if you will. Now, check out my screen. Exactly what I was talking about earlier. I have a sliver of clear. Look at this. I can see a little bit of clear screen over here. Everything else is just clouds. Like, that is freaking insane. I gotta take a screenshot of this and post it on the Discord because this is hilarious. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So we push through this group here. Again, no, no major problems at this point. We've had the one death where Nate just got out ahead of us. Now we get into an open room. So here's another new scenario for us. See how we handle this as a squad. Okay, you got a big open room. Got guys above you, guys in front of you.
There's something that the tank
Stuff in the back. There's a patrol moving through.
I'm as tough as a tank for about 30 seconds.
Got it. We got a patrol in the back. Yeah, and there's a group above us, so. Badger Bear goes in. Grabs the aggro.
So I'm support, off tank. I can hit.
All right, so we're just going to go hit them where they stand instead of doing anything cutesy, because there's really no place to pull in this scenario anyway. It's risky because there might be guys up here to the right. Sometimes there's some guys up here, but I don't see, there's nothing back here that can spot us. That patrol just headed back in that direction. There is a group, I think, above us, but they shouldn't be able to see us from there. So it's relatively safe, and sometimes, you don't really want to pull, because if you don't have a good place to pull to, let's say you go, oh, I'll pull over here. Guys can start coming around left to right. It just spreads them out. They're in a nice tight bunch. Let's just hit them. And that's what you see us doing. Badger Bear goes in there, draws the aggro, and the rest was just unload. Boom, boom, boom. And within, a few seconds, they're all done.
Dude, those monkeys are gonna get us killed tonight. I can just tell.
Yeah, see how my imps keep like jumping in, jumping out. It's always risky with these things. They only have one attack. I think that's just a brawl attack, fire brawl. So they like to just bounce around. They're skittish. They hop much further away than they need to. So if any of them were to have to go this direction, they're gonna aggro, and then boom, you're on. You're on it. So that's why you really got to pay attention to these guys. I don't think I had them set to aggressive that often. I use them more of this defensive, so if I get attacked, they'll all go and swarm. Aggressive, they can just go off too much. But I think later in the missions, I was just let them off the chain, just throw them in there to absorb some hits.
This thing, I pulled that, my bad.
Yeah, we got incoming down low. Oh, look at that. Vile just unloaded accidentally.
Double click.
Fucking blasters.
Well, this is that range monster I was talking about. This thing's, it'll shoot you out of draw range.
Yeah, so Vile's got this really long range snipey build on Vile, apparently. I've had roll long range my characters too. This guy's got some decent range, but yeah, can be dangerous on these things. Yeah, it's great to hit something way out, but if you overshoot accidentally, which you're tab targeting or something like that, and you fire, it looks like pretty much what he did. Hits a guy way over there from back here. I mean, look at the distance that he shot that guy. I mean, he's over here somewhere behind me, and he's tagging something way back in here with that shot. And now we've got incoming. Let's see, Nate's going in there.
Long-range sniper. It's hilarious.
Also, only got a few of the guys. I don't think the whole group came.
Right now, she's sitting at 80% range.
That's one thing I think that we haven't really messed with much on these 801s. I think we need to do more. I do it with my defender in the upcoming video. And that's like a snipe pull. Like if we have these ranged attackers, blaster, defender, whatever, with really long range and a single target blast, if you're far enough back, you should be able to tag a guy and dip before they can respond to it, I would assume. And the nature of the beast is that'll probably pull not just a single guy, it'll pull multiples. So you just saw what happened there. You have Vile accidentally hits the guy way back here, but we only pulled it like 4 of them or something like that. The rest of them are still over here. So I'm wondering if snipe pulling might be one of the things we can use more in these 801s. Rather than always your tank has to go up taunt, put themselves in harm's way, perhaps unnecessarily, why not range snipe pull? They start running in to get the blasters now hiding, then your tank can intercept and get them taunted off them. So it can help you kind of dissect a mob or pull one group away from another where you got too much of a congested situation. It's something that I think we should look into trying as we do more of these things. Badger Bear's in there. We clean them up pretty quickly. Again, this mission's really not stressing us too much. We're pretty secure with what we're doing. I'm barely taking any hits, really, as you can see, a little bit here and there. Nothing major, though.
Ones, tier 2s, you can do 30 minutes.
You know, here's another scenario where I think fire control's got an advantage.
No
It
problem.
can be.
Maps like, oh shit.
Like right here, you can see we've got our team is over here fighting. I'm hanging back again. And there's 2 groups over here. So I'm throwing smoke on these guys so that they don't see us because they've got, you can barely see them, but they got like targeting drones and things. So, you know, if that guy happens to walk too close, targeting drone sees you, they start blasting. Now you got 3 groups you're attacking. As long as we're able to, you know, chop the enemy into, you know, groups of 1 or 2 at a time, we're able to handle it, especially if we're able to get that pulling line of sight narrowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all of us. There is a group across that I have smoked right now, but I think they're okay.
So you're right there. So, I mean, these guys, even though they're smoked, they start responding, and this group over here. And it's because Badger Bear's here. I don't think he threw a taunt or anything on them that I saw. Back it up real quick. I've got him smoked.
Across that I have smoked right now, but I think they're okay.
Where's Badger Bear? Right there. Badger Bear hops in on this guy. I don't think he's doing any taunting. Let me see if I see any
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all of us.
response from the enemy that indicates
Across that I have smoked right now, but I think they're okay.
yeah, I'm not seeing any taunt. I mean, just seeing him jump over there. And the tank being right here is drawing that guy's attention, this guy's attention, right there. They're responding now. They're not seeing me. Right, I'm over here. I've got them smoked, and I've got my own stealth on. Those guys over there, though, are now being targeted.
Oh, they're aggroed.
Aggro from a corner.
Boom, boom, boom. 2 groups. So that's a bad positioning. We've got 2 groups shooting you from range. You don't want that. Badger Bear's taking hits.
They saw the big bear.
And then he jumps from one group to the other. So he's making basically a sacrificial play here, right? They saw me, let me go in and engage. Grab some aggro, let me go over here and engage both of the groups that have been aggroed. Because I'm pretty sure what he's trying to do is let's try to merge the 2 groups, right? Get them both to collapse on one location, make things easier. I don't think it happens because it looks like, well, Cassie's in there now too. So Cassie is, I think, using, yeah, I see web grenades all over their feet. So he's got them immobilized at this point, and then he goes in there to do an attack.
Big ugly bear.
He's got his debuffs going, teleporting out. I've got controls going on him now. Freezing rain's going in there. Tornadoes going in there.
They're getting ready to take a peek at us here.
I think Vile's dropping bombs in there. Pets are going in. And I Cassie unleashes Void Judgment on both groups. Yeah, look at this. It's just freaking... These guys are pretty much smoked at this point. The team's able to shift to the second group. It's over. I'm not sure what Cassie's packing in that grenade. If that was... I haven't played my Crab Veet in a while. I know they got some good debuff grenades and things, so that could be what he just hit him with, like a minus to hit or something like that. All right, so boom. Done again. That was, ooh, dangerous 2 groups, but we handle it. All right, now we get another dangerous situation. You've got patrol coming back. This was the one we saw a few minutes ago heading in. They're coming back. There's a group here. There's a group here. There might be a group over here. There's probably going to be a group up top here. So you got 3-4 groups in here easily. If you just dive in there, you're probably going to aggro 3 of them.
But patrol from the doorway here.
All right, so patrol's coming.
Did not smoke them.
For you.
Badger Bear's moving up.
The rear group is smoked.
All right, that's funny. So Badger Bear moves up. I don't see a taunt, but then his pet, the Augur Essence, does, what is it, lift? Or whatever that's called for mind control. Flips the guy.
These guys aren't.
An attack. So Badger Bear goes and
Rear group
draws aggro, but then again, he's a tank. He's drawing more than he wants to. So he goes in the middle of these guys to get their attention and come back here. But then that aggro's people back here. I'm not sure why we didn't just pull over here. Like taunt this patrol, bring over here. Not sure what happened there. So then Badger Bear goes over here. There's really no cover over here, though. It's just these pillars. So I'm going to see what's going to happen here.
aggro too.
Uh-oh. It's a trap.
I think it is.
Okay.
Location debuffs.
So electric control. It looks like we didn't fully aggro that group back there yet. I got some kinetics back there, though. Throwing out speed boosts.
Uh-oh.
So 2 huge hits. So you can see what I was trying to do there. It almost got me killed. So there's a couple spike damage. So we've got extra action coming. And I'm seeing them all get activated. So I want to put something right here in this in-between space. Because I don't know, are we going in? Are we hanging back? Or what, are we going to let them come in? What are we doing? So I come over here trying to keep line of sight blocked as much as I can, but I need to see what's going on. So I drop Bonfire over here. Here comes Bonfire. So I'm creating a little barrier in case they decide to go through there. All right, I've got aggro. Throw in, what was that? Double check that one.
Go.
Yeah, all right, some power boost, and it's smoking this group that's up front. So now I see a flyer coming, and he's flying over my Bonfire. So I throw Snowstorm on him to ground him. But now I just threw fire cages, and now I see hits back here. So it's drawing me aggro now. Boom, boom, I get shot. Smashed, and then blasted. So 2 hits, half health. Just had my head sticking out there for a few seconds.
Gave him a little too much juice.
Okay, and he goes, Nate.
Some mobs behind us with super speed, so there must be a cannon there.
Clean that group up.
He's back.
Okay, we got the middle group. Bottom. I don't know if that's all one group. Look, they're all kind of scattered. It must be just one group, but there's some of it here. There's a guy here. Some guys here. Guys here. Back here. Here's a dude. All right, they're scattered all throughout there, and there's guys up top as well. So just diving in here is going to be a bad idea. They're all spread out. Trying to scan what's going on. Let's see what Badger Bear does.
That upper group is gonna aggro, I'm sure.
So he pulls.
Yep. They're shooting.
That was an awful deep pull he just did. So I'm not sure. Why not just use a ranged taunt? Or is he relying upon like a gauntlet-y taunt? So here he's using a ranged taunt, but you saw he goes in all the way up here to, I guess, draw their aggro and then pulls back and is taunting from this position. Well, I don't know if it's why not just kind of move up here and taunt from this position. Let him see you throw a taunt and then boom, dip. I don't know if he's trying to bring the upper group at the same time. That's why he got that close. I wasn't sure what the plan was or why. I don't think it ends up bad, but it seemed excessive risk. We're going off on the guys up top. I don't know who's up there. Cassie up there, maybe? Something's going on up top. A bunch of guys. All right. Yeah, Cassie's up there. Okay. So Cassie went up top. I don't know. I guess the plan was to pull both groups at the same time. It's cool, you know. Pull them both. I don't care. But then, like, one guy's up top damaging. Other guy's down top, down on the bottom. We're doing a pull. We're doing a push.
I've already got my
both things going on. Finish them. All right, I see what we did. And then we go down into the right. So there's a ramp that way, but we go to the other direction, I believe.
I seen a red one in a sea of purple, and I said, "Uh-oh."
Okay, go this way. All right, this room. You got your obvious group down low. This could be a potential dupe trap. There's a platform up above. A little ramp stairway to get down over here. And there's probably a group up top here. So a lot of times you go in there, you start fighting. These guys just start shooting you. And you can't see them because you can't really pan your camera up high enough to catch them. They're just blasting you in the head. And then your best way to get over there, because there's like this overhanging lip, is you have to go up that ramp and they get you in a squeeze play. Because if you just jump up, you usually hit your head on the lip.
Nah, F it.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's a good spot.
So that's one thing I've seen as a tactical error, is a lot of times Badger's doing the push and pull, I guess is what we'll call it. So he's pushing in, like you saw in the last room, to get some aggro, and then pulls back to a hiding spot to break the line of sight. Okay, cool. But then what I'm seeing is then a few times now, Nate, who's back here with the group, your stalker, is then using lightning rod, and he's diving in when he sees the push. So boom, lightning rod hits, and he starts stealing this aggro. So by the time your pull brings them back to where you want to kill them, we've now got stuff happening here. Your tank's no longer in there; they're back here. And then your support, your range guys, like, well, hey, do I drop pain where Nate is, or do I wait for the pull to happen and then drop the pain back here? So it causes this confusion, and it's happened a few times now where I'm like going, okay, well, which one are we doing? Are we pushing in deep and hitting them, or are we pulling them back? Now at this point, I think you hear me say, nah, let's just go in there, because I'm like, well, we got them here. We've been cleaning up pretty well so far, so why not just do it?
Well, until they come down on our head right there.
Yeah. Well, I got plenty of stuff for them.
We've got guys dropping down. You can see them. Lots and lots of enemies coming. Well, we got this. Looks like most of the guys have come down. Still see a few blips. Okay, the bottom group's pretty much obliterated at this point. Looks like about half of the top groups come down. We've got them handled.
You know, since you're a controller,
Yeah, you want me to get somebody?
hey, mobilize might not be completely useless later.
Somebody killed my imps again.
All right, so look at all these guys. Okay, this is right. Now I remember this. So it looks like we had that handled, right? We had the bottom group over here that we took them out. You saw a bunch of guys jump down. We pretty much took them out over here. So now we're kind of scooting in this direction as you see me facing. Let's go up here. But all of a sudden a bunch more guys start showing up. And here's this guy here. And then there's another guy back here. So I don't know. Was this originally up there with that group that was coming down? Was this the same people? Or is this a new group? Is this an ambush? Is this a patrol? Because it just seemed like a lot more guys are coming down than should be there.
Coming up.
Coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, whole group.
Look at all these guys over here. So okay, so here's my thinking.
Under here.
Okay, Vile's taking hits.
Yeah.
I'm taking hits.
All right, I'm just throwing crap out there now.
Let's back this up. All right, so here's what I see. I'm seeing all these guys starting to appear. I'm like, all right, this is bad. But I feel like everybody was right behind me. We got the ramp here that's coming down like this, and then there's this overhang here above you, this thing. So I'm thinking, why not get myself snuggled back here so I've got overhead protection, and anything that comes down or down this ramp, I can turn and just start punking it or shove it into the corner over here with a hurricane. And I don't think it goes the way I planned.
I'm gonna be under here.
Yeah. Where I'm going.
All right, I'm just throwing crap out there now. They shouldn't have come down here.
Armor up.
I'm
I can't
getting
see
a bunch of
anything, but
controls on me.
neither can they, hopefully.
Disintegrate.
Disintegrating my ass.
Yeah, I'm taking heavy damage now. I don't think I got in the right position. I think the guys above me to my right are shooting me dead.
Back out, 'cause I am
And
disintegrating.
boom, right there. Yeah, I think it's all the guys up and to my right. Right there. You just caught them. And then the other thing that happened
Yeah.
is it looks like my team abandoned me. Like, I think when I was busy pushing in here to get into this little snuggle post, I think, and maybe this is what happened to why so many guys came. Maybe there was a taunt thrown or something like that up top here. And then stuff was being pulled back this way. Or this was an ambush, or this was a patrol. And our tank is bringing things back. I didn't know we were going back there. I was focusing this way and trying to stop it from coming down in the first place. So my goal was, let's funnel everything over here that's coming down the ledge, and they all move back in the other direction. But I didn't hear a call out if somebody said, hey, let's back out of there. And boom, I go down. That's my first death.
Try to hold that corner.
Come back to the corner back here, man. Get out of that
Yeah.
room.
It's a hot room.
Yeah.
I was trying to pull back to this corner in the first place, but I had my music up. I was on mute.
Music got me killed.
All right, Nate. This is why we got him.
Support stalker. So look, Nate's playing like teleport healer. Now, this could be cheesy if, let's say, he's normally, some bloodthirsty assassin, but he's got all these temp heal powers, like, why? But I think his character's playing this ability to do this, so I don't think it's, a cheesy, oh, that's illegal. I think it's just what his character's designed to do. Resistance healing and get stuff in and out.
Gear up again. Yeah, I was in the corner trying to hold him from coming down the ramp, but then they're shooting me in the head.
I just can't believe there's that many guys up there. So we have another big room. There's like 5 or 6 groups in here. So we're pulling, and here's the good one. All right, so here's Badger Bear's taunting, pulling over here. He's breaking the line of sight. Right, we got the entrance here, but he's behind the little wall there. So boom, they have to come up to see him, and that's what they're doing, which is perfect because now they're going to be concentrated for us to just start unleashing. As you see, all the pretty numbers flying between myself and Vile Maiden and stuff, are just unloading. I think Cassie's pumping some grenades in here. And that group just gets destroyed. Another group. I don't know if it's the same group, the rest of it. All right, I'm seeing action in the back, right? We got that group way back there. But I see them starting to enter alert stances, like this guy right there. So they're spotting the imps, maybe spotting Nate. You can see Nate's taking some damage there.
Had our ambush.
Yeah, look, I mean, they're starting to shoot now. We got our tank in here, we got Nate in here, we got the imps in there. My imps are being punished. So they might have been the ones that drew the aggro, but I can see there's damage on them.
Maybe we did.
Not yet.
And then Nate's dead. Like, that's it. My imps are getting killed, Nate's getting killed. Right here. He even gets some healing.
Had our ambush.
Gets a big 625, so he's clicked his heal power. See, they shoot him. More
maybe.
grenades. Boom, boom, boom. Some huge hit he just took. Oh, yeah, I see it right there. Look at that. You can see the numbers right here. He takes an 1143 hit from something. Some big boss. Maybe the guy I've got highlighted, or this rad guy right here, just punks him. Boom. He's got somebody else's laser in his ass right here. That could be the shot. He's taking multiple hits. And that's it. He's dead. Maybe disintegrated out. So, hey, did he do anything wrong? No, he's fighting these guys. But this is, again, where the 801s are different from your standard game. If you're playing 54 times 8, radio stuff, these guys would have never aggroed. They're way back here content to let you murder these guys here. And these 801s, I don't know if it's the mobs themselves in general have higher perception. It seems like it. But these guys have a lot of plus perception powers that they're using. And so that gives them increased ability to see you at range, whether you're, stealthy or not. So boom, they see him, they start shooting, he's dead. There's our third death of this mission. He's getting up. I give him a little cover with Hurricane. We end up killing the rest of those guys in this area. Now we got to go find the rest of the dudes. Okay, so this is that room with the overhead platform, the ramp up, and we had come in from back here where the patrol was. So I see people going up this way, so I go up this way too, because there's stuff on the other side of this ramp. And so I'm fly up around the corner. The ramp is right here. I'm looking down the hall and there's guys. I'm like, oh, well, this is our next target. I also see something over here, which is a patrol or something like that. So it's pretty hot in here. But then I started hearing gunfire.
I already jumped in on this one. Sorry.
I think we might have an ambush or something.
I just fucked it up.
And I'm hearing shots. All right. So I think what happened is Badger Bear, I don't know if he came up here, but came up here and I went down here. There can be a group down here. I don't know if that's what he's fighting, but I'm hearing like stuff from over here. So maybe it was a patrol he intercepted. That was the one guy we saw that I have targeted, this guy. This is a patrol coming through here, maybe. So he's now fighting with this.
To the that big room. Yeah.
Now he's coming back. Now here's the crazy thing.
Somewhere. Where you at?
We're all like, where is he?
Now he's got two groups he's putting together.
He pulls him all the way back to.
He's going ball.
He pulls him all the way back through here. So I think it's a patrol or something that pulls him back, comes all the way up this ramp into the group here that I had spotted down the hallway. So now we got like two groups that he's starting to fight.
Balls deep.
Buddy, I think I got the balls in there. I'm further than that.
Dude, you are so deep. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna die.
Yeah. Oh, here, well, I'll throw some shit on him for you.
Okay, we start unleashing the pain. Save the tank. I take a huge hit from something. And now I start seeing on my peripheral guys come. Like, look at these guys. This is what the rest of that patrol he was fighting. So, boom, there's a guy over here. They're starting to line me up. I think that was where that first boom came from.
Heads behind me. Blaster, watch out.
Calling it out. Get shot. I'm like, this is it. I'm hugging the corner to get Hurricane's
Pets out there.
leverage.
Pets, intercept this shit for me.
I'm like almost dead. Now it's just bedlam up here. Bedlam, bedlam, bedlam. Crazy.
Camp, man.
End up clearing that mess.
Oh, come on,
Get the
come.
last room, standard room, lab room here. You got multiple groups. We're doing the old poll, but here's what's interesting. Like Badger Bear's held, so I don't know if they just stacked so much control on him that they held him, or did he forget to toggle up? It looks like he's got his mez toggle. I think it's that one right there. So his mez toggle's up, but he's somehow being held. I don't know how that happened.
I got him held.
I don't know. Sometimes the control mobs in AE can have like controller overpower version or dominator domination version, I think. Like depending on which one you choose when you're setting the groups up. But there you go. I mean, we clear that group, pull, clear that group, and end up just boom, finishing off these guys. Let's take a look at some of the stats, starting just with the defensive side of things. So if we go ahead and take a look at these first two missions, they were about 30 minutes, 40 minutes long, pretty close to each other. I mean, none of the missions was crazy long, except for that fourth mission, which we'll get to. But this is pretty typical of what I've been seeing. 25, 35, 40 minutes, somewhere's in there. That's about the average length of time in this first few. When we go ahead and take a look at survivability stats, these are your personal defeats. So how many times was the DEFCON defeated per minute? You can see those first couple of missions. There was only one defeat in both of them, and one of them was really, well, probably both of them are really not much I could do. Positioning sort of things, being overwhelmed. Really nothing I could, prevent if that happened, other than just keep the hell out of the way. But the rate is interesting. So we have, kind of a baseline establishing here. Really, that second mission was the cream of the crop. When you look here, I think that first mission you have some of that initial trying to figure out what's going on, even though the foes are easiest. But then once your team kind of gelled, I think you saw that mission two, we were much more, together, coherent, doing whatever, executing the plays, if you want to think about it like that. So we had the lowest rate for my character anyway. Things get a little bit spicier. Mission three is, I think, going to turn out to be actually the most difficult, just based upon some of these numbers that you're seeing here. Given that the defeats versus time ratio is pretty high. The correlation on this is good. It's 0.93, so it's pretty much guaranteed. The longer the mission, the more defeats you take, which is kind of obvious that should be true. But overall, what you're seeing here with these stats, consistent numbers, predictable. He's dying about every 28 minutes. So that's, if that's the shortest mission time, so like once a mission, one and a half times a mission. So he's a lot of survivability, even though he's unleashing chaos in all directions. There is a spike coming up in mission three, relatively speaking, 2 in the shorter time on that one. When we see that mission, I want to see what is the geometry of the maps looking like, because if I'm unable to, I suspect, control things well with hurricane debuffing, that sort of stuff, I think it's going to end up with more exposure. I think this one, if I'm not mistaken, is on a cargo ship, so we'll see. I think the geometry of that particular map is to blame. And then even on that, hour-long mission 4, he still has like a baseline level of not lethality, but of what you call it, survivability, right? We're gonna have a 3-6, 3-2 number here, right? So it's between the 2-4, the 3-6 we're looking at. So those 3 missions are pretty safe as far as consistent goes. Then we have, how about the allies? Even though we're taking on pretty tough enemies, it's one of the lower totals of defeats. I mean, it's not obviously super low, but 15 is really not that bad compared to some of the stuff I've been seeing. Mission 3, again, is going to be the one that's going to give us the most challenge. But missions 1 and 2, we didn't see many defeats. And a couple of those are just, again, nothing you can do about it. Somebody's out of line of sight. They go around a corner. They get isolated. mix up in the play call, that kind of thing, splitting the one where you saw like the double pull and half the pull goes back, the other half goes to a corner. A little bit of confusion led to some of these defeats. The rates really low, 071, 065. Again, we're seeing very consistent data here. It's going to be mission 3 is going to be the one that's going to throw some of these numbers off. Correlation wise, it's pretty strong. We got a 0.85 on the R squared. When we graph this data, those 3 data points are pretty tight. And those are the missions 1, 2, and 4. Here's mission 3. You know, that's one thing I like with the graphs. You can kind of see the outlying data points, the ones where things go off the rails. So something happens here in mission 3 that is going to help explain this thing. So that overall rate of average of 091, there is, you know, frequent danger here and there, but not crazy. 15 deaths, 170 minutes. It's consistent threat, but there wasn't any major just disintegrations, that kind of thing. Mission 3, that's going to be the one that's going to be the highest risk. So we're going to take a look at that one next in a second. And risk is increasing as time goes up, as you would expect. Pretty strong correlation between that. So the longer you go, the riskier it's going to get, which is kind of interesting because you think if you are playing riskier and pushing things faster, that you would expect more risk. In some situations, I would think that shorter time might mean more risk, but no, it just seems pretty linear that the longer the mission is, for whatever reason, the riskier it is for your teammates. Third thing is looking at the damage taken by Scouring Sands. Again, look at missions 1 and 2, pretty low numbers where rates are averaging around 200. That's not bad. 200 a minute, it's really nothing. Even that mission 4 is fairly low, you know, considering we're taking on EBs only, but that's because we've got, you know, really long time invested. So the amount of damage he takes is very high, but it's also the longest mission. And again, we can see though, mission 3 being your outlier where you've got, you know, your damage is pretty high and the time is pretty short. So, you know, hey, there's got to be something going on there that's really risky for this character. And it might just be a, you know, changing strategy of how you play the character in that particular thing. Let's see, which one is it? And this, again, this graph's a little bit not as spread out as the other one. Its correlation's stronger at 0.94. You've got a one little, let's just say it's an outlier because the correlation is so strong, but this is that 42-minute mission 2 right there. And we have a decent, you know, 5,700 damage. So, you know, mission 2 is sort of the oddball a little bit there, but not too bad. So, hey, he's taken large quantities of damage if you add it all up, you know, 42, almost 43,000, but the rate is pretty consistent based upon that R squared. You're only getting in the 136, 314 range, so call it somewhere around 200 per minute. Perfectly manageable. 3 and 4, you're going to see that we have extended fights are going to be coming up. We're going to see heavier damage windows, spikier damage. You know, bigger hits are coming as we take on harder foes. But we're, again, scaling with time. So as time goes up, damage is going up. Makes sense. When we start to do some mixed correlations here between personal defeats, resilience, and ally defeats. One I'm calling punishment, the other one I'm calling overwatch. Very strong correlations here. So, hey, as the rate of damage taken is increasing, yeah, your personal defeats are going up. Similarly, ally defeats. And this would be presuming that the damage I'm taking is also indicative of damage my allies are taking. So it makes sense that there is a correlation of these numbers increasing. Certainly not equal to each other. It's 160 per minute for my personal defeats. If I start taking those rates, that's where I'm going to start dropping. Allies are a little, I don't want to say more fragile, but they're on their own damage scale versus what I am. So higher damage is strongly correlating with his own defeats. Tight clusters you're seeing there. So he's going to go down because there's heavier incoming damage. That just makes sense. Trend line, looking at the slope, each of those defeats that he is taking, there's a rise in incoming damage, right? So we're just going to keep going up another 160 minute, boom, 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 until you start dropping. Ally defeats are also scaling up very strongly. Slope is 61. It's gentler than, like I said, the one with personal defeats. So there's that correlation. It's just not as sharp. So that's suggesting that his personal damage is escalating faster than when ally danger. So, or sorry, his personal danger is going up as his damage is increasing than the ally. So there's not a lockstep correlation between those two factors. So teammates, they're falling during what you would consider moderate damage windows to me, and I think that's because those would be the instances of when the allies are just out of my sight, right? I mean, I don't know, say most, but probably most of the damage or the deaths you saw in those first two missions, I wasn't around the ally who dropped. There wasn't like just some swamp wave that comes over and just takes the whole party out. We haven't had that yet. It's one person gets isolated here, one person gets isolated there, so they're separate from each other. But we have a consistent trend that both Scouring and allies, they're having the same kind of pressure, all right, the same increasing pressure windows. So synchronized battle stress is what that's suggesting, that hey, the fights are happening, something's happening to you, it's eventually going to trickle down and happen to me. There's not like super spiky areas where just 20 guys die and I'm not taking anything. Our next stat gets in a number of hits you're taking. This is known as avoidance. So this is how many hits per minute. This isn't necessarily bad hits. I've talked about this before. The hits could be little tickle hits from caltrops or something like that, or it could be some big, massive hits. We'll take a look at the relationship between hits and damage in a second. But correlation is almost perfect. I mean, look at this, 0.99. So we're taking about 6 hits a minute on average, it looks like. Yeah, so slope's 597. The rate here is 5.7. So they're very similar to each other. As time goes up, you're going to take more hits. You're taking about 6 hits a minute. Not huge, but it's enough to put you down eventually if those hits are spiky damage. So consistently 5 to 6, steady contact, no bursts at this point. And even though the mission lengths and the pressure that he's going against are changing, the hit rate is still very tightly clustered, predictable exposure. So he's playing the same style, really. The team is playing the same style, and I think you kind of saw that in those first couple of missions where we were being very methodical with our approach to each enemy. And it's only when we kind of broke our plan, that things went south. And mission 4 is going to have the highest hit rate. You're going to see increased contact during just extended engagement. So we are going to be fighting for our lives, right, for 62 minutes. The hits, they just to keep it coming, right? 6.5. So it is a fairly decent jump up in the amount of hits per minute, if relatively speaking again. But couple that with the hits are going to be harder. You can see that, hey, he's going to take more damage and be at higher risk of dying. But perfect correlation practically. The hits are reflecting battlefield placement, play style. They're not, because his defense is sucking. He's taking those hits very consistently over and over again. But he's playing mid-range. He's got a lot of, aura radius control. He's got a lot of patchiness. So I think it's more so his hits he's taking is because of where he is on the field, not because he's got some holes in his defense. When we look at the correlation between those hits and the damage intake that he has been suffering, so basically how much damage per hit is he taking, slopes around 43, correlation's almost perfect again. We're seeing the damage going up in proportion to hits. Again, this should be obvious. The more times you hit, the more damage you're going to take. He's not having big spikes, so that's again the sort of the message you're seeing. Very consistent, very reliable, which is kind of oxymoronic compared considering you're playing Storm, known as Chaos summoning. So anyway, it's interesting. I found that there wasn't any sort of just out of control moments. Then the slope. Each hit is about the same amount of damage. It's not crazy over the top. Yeah, he took a lot of big hits at some point, but he also took a lot of little hits, kind of balance each other out. So he's taking fairly uniform damage, which actually makes it easier to sustain yourself. You're not seeing some huge hits that he takes in one of the missions. He's just laid out consistently. So the team is going to play very consistently as well. And the linearity of the slope there is telling you positioning, contact time, exposure. It's steady. It's pretty much the same mission after mission. And it's just reinforcing what avoidance is showing. He's in a consistent engagement at certain range, certain places. The damage he's getting is scaling with that pressure. When we take a look at those hits versus the damage. Oops, just said that. Let me get rid of that one. Move on to the next one. So provision is our last defensive metric we're going to take a look at. This is looking at the number of buffs you're giving out per minute. Now, he doesn't have a lot of buffs. He's got Clarion. This is one true buff. And I lumped smoke in there because I felt that it was buffing the team's ability to sneak around rather than, or avoid being hit because the enemy wasn't seeing them right away, then it was a minus to hit debuff. So yeah, there's the minus to hit debuff side, but I'm looking at more as the perception debuff, which in my mind sort of translates into a stealth boost mode. So that's where I'm looking at it as a buff of stealth, because I also was running Steamy Mist, so that kind of helped keep the team safe. So that's why I use that as a buff metric. But if you take a look at those first couple missions again, we've got pretty consistent 1.8 being that first mission out of the gate. Just trying to get our legs under us. 1.5, we get improvement of the number of buffs. The rate, I should say not improvement, a little decline in the number of buffs. But then it pretty much holds steady. For those first 3 missions, it's very steady. The buff rate is very consistent. It's not until mission 4 where you see a slight increase here. You know exactly why that is. Why am I buffing more? It's not just because of time, because time is already factored into rates. So I think it's more of responsive buffing, possibly smoke, because we're taking more damage, more stuff is coming. Maybe I'm throwing that out more as a reaction than anything else, because Clarion's on a timer, so I can only click it when it's available. So it must fall on smoke is the main reason for that. So again, if we take a look at this graph, we've got very consistent data. Correlation super strong. I swear this guy's got some of the best correlations of his metrics across the board, which is scary because I've seen much more fluctuation in my other characters. I don't know if it's Storm per se. We'll have to take a look at the Defender. I don't know if it's just the team has gotten much more consistent, because I've played with these same players several times now, and so I think maybe they're just getting more and more used to what's going on. We're more and more working as a unit. We did have Linnea join us this time. It was his first time with us, but he's also a knowledgeable player, knowledgeable of these 801s. Obviously, he designed them, so is that a factor here? I don't know. It's just very interesting and a very consistent, numbers here. Correlations are crazy. So provision, it's scaling with mission length. So the longer the mission, the more buffs. Duh. And it's very stable again, consistent 1.8. The only outlier was that mission 4 here. But part of that again was because the mission was longer. So we'll take a look at that when we get to it. Then we got the related statistics or the metrics of warding and shielding. So here's where you're taking that provision rate and plotting it versus your ally defeats. So is it reacting to ally defeats? Is it proactive? What's going on here? And then we've got my pet resilience, so my pet's damage taken per minute plotted against that provision value. This is serving as a proxy for my teammates. My pets are presumably taking the same damage as the stuff is coming out there, at least the same opportunities to take damage. So are these provisions doing anything to blunt that or not? We'll see. So if you take a look, the correlation is not as strong on warding, but it's very good on shielding. So, its pets are taking more damage per minute, more provisioning is going out, buffs per minute. It's not as tight with the ally defeats, but pretty close. So shielding, extremely tight. Warding, not as much, a little bit more scattered there. And what we're seeing here is that the pets, their damage they're taking seem to really closely track with the provision numbers, whereas your ally defeats are fluctuating a little bit more, and makes you think that, well, first of all, team survival really doesn't have much to do with provision, at least the ones that he's providing. But I think this may be the more interesting angle to look at it, that this provision metric is reflective of this internal system behavior, him buffing, landing on his pets, because presumably his pets would be much more likely to be near him than, let's say, a teammate. You're gonna have teammates such as your tank, your stalker are in melee, and I wasn't in melee, so they're not getting my buff. So they're not necessarily. I don't say they're not counting, but they're not going to count as often. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because the imps were jumping in there too, but then the storm elementals were closer to me, and the buffs I'm recording are more so clicks than actual hits on allies. So exactly if this is true or not versus reactive to your team taking damage, I don't know. It's still an open question. I don't have all the numbers to draw conclusions one way or the other. But to kind of tie up this provision metric, the last thing would be then the amplification, which is looking at provisioning versus your foes that your allies defeat. So amount of kills your team is getting. And you're seeing again, we're having some correlation here. As the provisioning goes up, the foes defeated by my allies going up pretty close, 0.85 on that correlation, but not perfect, right? We're seeing a trend going up. There's something going on there, but we're not 100% able to say. So, your provision's varying a little bit, 1.5 to 2.4 per minute, and your ally kills are swinging 225 to 450. Those are total numbers, not per minute numbers. So maybe the allies are getting better with more buffing, or is it because they just happen to be going together because there's longer, more intense missions? I mean, again, it's really hard to put your finger on any one thing. Just trying to see if there's any numbers pop out. And I really think once I clump all these together as a conglomerate of all the controllers and all the defenders, I think we're going to see if there's anything real there or not. But just pointing out some of the facts of what we're looking at here. So combined numbers, combined stats, defensive side. He's controlled chaos. He's mid-range controller, highly predictable defensive behavior. His defeats, the allies' defeats, the damage he's taken, times he's being hit, all that stuff. Very linear, very tracking with the mission time. It's arguing he has consistent positioning. He's got steady hit rates because of that proportional damage intakes. He's not diving face first and getting lumped in some missions. There's very little randomness here, very little scatter. The spikes seem to be related to the pressure of the mission itself, and I'm thinking it's probably because the maps, the whole cramped scenarios, are going to dictate what sort of damage he's taking, his allies are taking. Survivability, though, stable. Risk exposure seems to be shared across the team. Resilience is tracking with his hits. So consistency under pressure, indicating reliable with this role as a controlled chaos supporter. Even though he's out there drawing aggro, right? He's living in the danger zone. He's got fire ticking DOTs. He's got storm chaos flying around, tornado, that kind of stuff. He should be drawing a lot of aggro, but he seems to be able to weather that stuff pretty well. All right, so let's jump to missions 3 and then 4, because this is where things started getting real. Missions 1 and 2, very steady, very balanced, very consistent. Not a lot happening. It was very formulaic. Almost to the point, not when I was doing it, but as I was watching this, almost to the point of being boring. Like, I'm like, okay, we're doing the same thing. Lather, rinse, repeat, lather, rinse, repeat. Very methodical. It was effective, but it was methodical. And again, kind of boring, kind of dull. Missions 3 and 4, they get a bit more spicy because things are going to get a lot spicier. So let's go ahead and fire this up. So mission 3, random die roll. We get an 8016 out of this thing. So let's see which one. I think this is the cargo ship one.
So I'm gonna roll a D10 on this one.
Let's see which one.
Spin away. Stop it. What is definitely that number. All right.
PM7.
We are
Get us in there. Okay, PM7. No, it's another one of these Callisti Wharf type of, not Callisti Wharf, it's a Praetorian, I think, maps. A bunch of bosses and stuff. And it's one of these huge, like, officey, modern officey maps. Okay, so it takes us a minute or two to kind of get everybody on the map. A patrol just goes up the
you're
stairs.
going right up the ass of that.
And then Badger Bear goes
yeah, right up the ass of those
to
patrols.
get him. Man, this is an ugly, ugly scenario. I don't like this position at all. I don't like fighting, like, downhill like this. I don't like fighting on these slopes at all, whether I'm on the top or the bottom, but this is even worse because, again, the camera is really hard in the game to pan up high enough to see things. So you got to more so scroll out so you can zoom out and see everything. But, we're pulling stuff down and, things are going to come around. I think he's over here. So stuff comes around here, right? But the problem is anything that hesitates or isn't, caught aggro, because you might have only taunted the first few guys. So you're going to end up with, enemies like up here, and they just start black. Well, like, where am I supposed to go? Like, I don't have much cover here. I'm just wide open. So this is a really ugly place to be. Okay, we got the pull.
Not sure they're into
Okay,
that.
Badger's over there on the left.
They
Those
don't
guys
seem
look.
very happy about it.
Look at all these guys coming. There's at least like a dozen guys down here. There's a whole bunch more coming back there. So you got pain domination coming.
Let's put it that way.
All right.
Oh yeah, you got
He's-
big time,
He is just getting.
big time rush.
Look at this. I mean, I'm not gonna stick my head out because you're gonna get freaking lit up by all these guys. Or he's way over his aggro cap. Look at all these guys up here. So I'm just dropping stuff down from behind cover here, and basically spray and pray at this point.
You got it. You got it.
Here, guys.
You got it all in there.
Badger Bear's taking huge damage.
Dropping everything.
Watch yourselves. Stay off to the sides. Line up in the middle.
And luckily we got enough firepower just to like jam right in the middle of it.
There we go. I just gave him what for?
Can I pull some while I've got my armor up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
can handle it.
we love pulling.
Just like killing quick. Fucking get them all down here.
Feed the meat grinder.
I can only taunt 5.
Just a 7 DC.
This is a 6.
Okay. They grounded me. Firing in.
All right. Where you at?
Yeah, just pulling more and more to this location.
Answering the
In the
middle.
air.
The fuck?
I can't pull them down. I can't pull them to the bottom.
So
Bunch
many
of fences or something.
nasty to me.
Pulling up more armor.
That's it. I've had enough of this charade. Stormies do it from the front.
Yeah, so that's one thing I definitely noticed is that I just start getting more aggressive in this third mission because I'm feeling good, right? The first 2 missions have been, like I said, pretty much just lather, rinse, repeat, lather, rinse, repeat. We're not barely getting scratched. So I'm like, F it, let's just start unloading. So I start getting much more aggressive. It's probably why I end up taking more damage.
Has anybody got any endurance?
Yeah, I got tons.
For me.
Oh no, you're out of luck. No ageless.
No angel.
I still got that blue for sale.
If you've not, if you've not figured it out, DC's a sadist.
All right, checking the sides.
Stop.
I want to go
Oh,
up and
wait.
check side. Yep.
No hills, no blue for you, buddy.
Is that a noob trap we just
We're doing
pulled?
great without any freaking heals. Come on.
Don't need that shit. That's shit's for pussies.
Yeah, that's her bad pug teams.
Sneaky ones.
Barrier, man. This thing's kryptonite.
Yeah, so see, like, we're just pushing and shoving these guys back. So our team's just very well coordinated, and it's not like we're designing around some system either. You know, we're just playing more instinctively and getting used to each other.
Dude, I don't like this twisty turny shit.
Yeah, I can't really get a good vertical position. Sight lines are terrible. I can't really scroll out with my mouse because I'm so, like, you're so confined in here. That's probably why I'm also going to take a lot more damage.
I love those vines. Directional combat teleport vine
Yeah,
with the using the rune, the mystic fly.
it is nice.
'Cause I need it out of there quick.
Yeah, those TP binds. The TP is such a awesome. I'm glad Homecoming fixed it because I always hated that power.
Apocalypse is like a Homecoming fanboy.
You know, they slow you down when you hover.
All right, so we're just pushing through this hall.
You can't go through walls, and then
Boots, yeah.
You know,
There's a bunch of
again, we're kind of being formulaic here, right? We're just hugging corners,
Duck, because I'm just shooting everything.
dropping stuff around a corner. These guys are fussing; they can't see anything. I'm like, I can't see anything either. So, join the club.
close support.
Like, look at all this just stupid clouds and stuff.
Got a 25-foot range on this debuff, so you're gonna want it.
Okay.
wow.
I didn't see this mob. I couldn't see this mob down the hallway here.
Oh, they seen you though.
Yeah, they did.
Disability is just horrific.
Oh, they're mad as hell.
Yes, they are.
Right there, I think it might have been one of the first times I used cinders was right there. Just you never had a chance to use it. And speaking of not using things, I don't think I've seen Vile go into melee yet to use any of his energy mastery punches. Just sad because you invest all this effort into these powers but can't use them.
Yeah.
That's what I want to. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, that's an ambush, I think.
Now here, I'll throw a twister.
Come back to the timber, guys.
Yeah, I got it.
There, I can't see anything, so I just chuck a tornado around the corner. I mean, these sight lines are terrible, but they're also advantageous. I just keep dropping patches around the corner.
Pull back. That's a lot.
Eat them up here and
They
just
just-
stare out there.
They just ate my pets.
Just keep taunting them, pull them into that patch.
I'm trying to target different guys to taunt. Different places in the mob.
Back row. Those guys that wouldn't move up, in class, those guys.
There's still a lot of guys in the mid.
Every time Nate sticks his head out, they just start shooting him.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. The fucking goddamn whirling claws fucking only hits fucking 16, but your taunt hits 5. Yeah.
This taunt sticks for a very long time.
Yeah. There's no
These
resist.
guys, they're just keep churning enemies and throwing them into our
It takes a minute to get
meat grinder.
recharge and 3 or 4 of them off.
See, every time I kind of stick my head around, there's just so much fires coming down this hall right now. I think there's burn patches and crap.
This is almost gonna be one of those moments of what the hell hit me. I feel it coming.
Yeah. There's barrier.
think we just about cleared this hallway. Yeah, I think there was an ambush or something just came.
Contents for that. They got squished.
Finally battle through this hall. How long was that fighting?
Dude,
Several minutes.
got one operative down here.
It's better
The
than
room is cleared.
bringing you guys back.
Right now we're coming down the hall again. We got another crew.
Still not. It's not my energy.
The fireman.
You know, it's.
It's like
Well, it's
me
not-
with dual pistols and katana. I have more dual pistols and katana than probably anything, just because I like them.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting into the savage.
Yeah, I got a Savage Stalker. I've been leveling. I've been playing it up. It's not meta damage or anything, but it's a fun thing.
The other one I'm getting into is that arsenal control, man. I love that. It's
Nate, you're getting scorched.
pretty wicked.
Look at this. This is just. The hall is just full of dudes.
Thanks, sir.
Trying to target some guys in the back, and they're all flopping. And I can't.
Dude, they don't know what to do.
Stand around the corner, staying safe, let my armors come back up.
Very good.
Constant knockbacks, knockdowns. Look at this.
That's a fun thing about these, the pug team. The tank taunts, the pugs huddle up next to the tank gets nuked, everybody dies.
Sounds like you're going to be a fan of the next series, The Unsuspecting. Alright, looks like we get this hall. I mean, every hallway is a battle. It's like minutes of fighting, just non-stop. You're just dumping everything you've got into these enemies. How is your stalker holding up?
Yeah, he feels
Insane.
I only have one, but
Speed bad right here, so I'm just looking to see if this is going to turn out to be something. We got a couple guys have gone in to engage this group. We still got this guy over here that I'm messing with, and so is Vile. Let's see if the stuff down there gets into trouble.
I appreciate scrappers, you know, with like claws melee. I only have one, but stalkers though, I like the ATOs because it helps them give me like a combination of melee hits to do.
I'm going to try to finish this guy off before he shoots anybody in the back. I do like that you're able to just drop pain and then forget about it and go back to something else. So even though I'm not directly controlling this group, you know, throw Bonfire in there, Freezing Rain in there, Tornado in there. How, like, my support stalkers would hold up on this thing. It's just like a flop box in there. Once, what was it with Apocalypse? My,
Psi armor tank on this thing.
Somebody
I
brought
guess
a
I
psi
need-
armor on one not long ago.
I guess I'm gonna have to roll one.
It's the mitigations work.
Yeah.
I haven't come up with a build I like for it yet.
No.
I kind of feel like this should have been the level we started with. I mean, you know, if I wasn't doing these tests, it'd be something like, let's start with these
Seems like it depends too much on
sixes here, because they seem to be about the right challenge for our type of team.
that one power with the fear and the hold.
Yeah, that's my favorite with my stalker. Be able to stack a lot of that, crush that group.
not being wet grenaded. I can't jump or anything, so. The elevator on the other side of him, so. Taking
I
right
like this type of encounter right here. This narrow little hallway. Tight little hallway. Again, it's line of sight. I can't see, so I like to kind of stay back here and just drop stuff on them and let them come to us. But I think Badge Bear might be in there already. Hearing gunfire and stuff in that direction, I think.
Oh, come on.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I think he's in there. Back up, see if we can see where he went.
Group right through the doorway up here.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, see, that's kind of, that's on Badgewear. He's going in there to tank, which is great. Get aggro, but man, we can't see. There's just this narrow little hole. And you know, even for like right here, you know, I don't want to go in there because then they're gonna AoE my A to death. So I'm hanging back here, but then I can't even see him at all. So he has bad positioning here.
Elevator on the other side of him, so. Taking right here.
You know, 'cause you're going in there thinking, oh yeah, my team's right behind me. The problem is we can't get behind you because there's nothing to see.
Oh no.
Well, within seconds he's dead, and a couple of the team was still behind me down low.
Get him, Lane.
I mean, I like this. I can just drop stuff in here. So I think here's where you do, you know, you just hang out as a tank, like just hang over here on the other side of the door. I'll do this a lot. Just playing, let's say, 54-8 stuff. If there's a tight space like this, I know I got my people behind me that are blasting. I'll kind of like do a little sneaky Pete, you know, taunting and pull back around. So they're trying to get out the door, and I just start pummeling guys that are coming through the door. But other than that, going through there is really putting yourself at high risk.
Yeah, that thing's straight.
I hit overload before I hit my heel. I should have.
We finally clear this room. Head upstairs.
I can do this all day long.
Oh, I think this is, if I remember this one, that's bad.
Yeah, you got.
I like the.
Yeah, okay, so we just came up with the elevator. And, God, I think this is the one where, if I remember this room, so I think this is what we got. We got our elevator entrance here, and then there's this hallway we're looking at here. But then I think there are like multiple side tunnels or whatever that go through something like this, right? And there's like a big, like a perimeter thing, and there's the hallways this way, or there's rooms or something, and then there's like a lower recessed room on the other side here. Anyway, there's like dudes everywhere in here. So we're back here, but you know, you got stuff that can come through here, come this way, come this way, this way. This is a solid wall right here, but you can get just surrounded in seconds if you push in too fast.
Little zigzag corners you can pull them through, man. You can get them stacked up pretty decent.
I'm not gonna hold them here all day. And this guy's going into the hall, which is going to get them potentially flanked. Smoked. And we're cruising pretty quick on this mission.
Yep.
All right, so I'm just snooping over here to see, is there anything over here? I don't see anything. The team, I think, heads the other way.
That's what I was worrying about.
Yeah.
Quilting Northern. All
All
right.
right, so at this point, I've lost sight of, like, where is everybody? I see people going this way. Like, where are they going?
I'm gonna jump down here and grab these.
Oh shit.
So Badger Bear goes down into that pit. Uh-oh. This is going to be murder. Yeah, so again, we're setting up another one of these scenarios where we're splitting the party. We're breaking line of sight on each other. I don't know, I was gonna go this way, but then nobody was coming with me, and then they're going that way, and then so I turn around to see where they're going, and then Badger Bear's coming. I'm gonna go get some dudes. Like, okay, is he bringing them back, or, I don't know if in this scenario we needed to go fishing. We probably could have just come down to one of these little, areas here and just kind of pulled it like right there. So anyway, I'm just confused. I'm not sure where everybody is. Things are getting twisted around. This map is
Okay.
ugly as hell. And then boom, Badger Bear's dead before you freaking know it. All right, he's down there and gone.
Oh no.
So it's a couple times. So now, okay, here's the thing: is this should start to get scary, is because this is what our second time this tank has died. And if your tank is your toughest dude and he's getting evaporated in like 2-3 hits in less than 5 seconds. I mean, let's see how long did it take for him to get killed. Back this up. All right, so he's at full health.
All right, this is that room. I'm gonna jump down here and grab
All
it.
right, one.
Oh shit.
Hold on, he's taking hits already. Back this up.
Yeah.
Go up in the northern. All right, this is that room.
All right, so he says, "All right, this is it."
I'm gonna jump down here and grab
He's gonna jump down and grab it. It's now 38-29. He's just starting to take hits. So 38-29.
Oh shit.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
No. Oh. Look out.
And boom, he's done. 38-41. So 12 seconds, roughly. So boom, I mean, 12 seconds. That's not that long. So how, unless somebody's right there, Johnny, on the spot, empathy pocket healing you, you're doomed. Right? I don't have any shields that I'm giving him. He's just on his own.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
now we got a problem because we've got aggro coming up the
Yeah,
steps.
I'm backing up.
Your
Backing
tank
up,
is
man.
dead.
Coming.
Yeah.
All right, do we save our tank? Do we back out? What do we do? People are pushing right through us now.
Got about 1 minute.
Incoming.
We got a couple backdoor action here up here.
We got back. The guys are running past me.
I think we should back
And then boom, now I'm down.
up. Shit. They're behind me, about 3 of them.
Yeah. Oh, they're
I'll
all
tell
over
you,
the place.
Yeah, see, now it's a cluster F. Like here, you're starting to see team wipe. Right? Now it's just 2 deaths within 15 seconds of each other.
Man,
This is a bad place. They're hitting us from both ends.
get to the elevator.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, back us out of there. All right, we're backed out.
All right.
Support stalker. All right.
Got 5 seconds left.
You're in there, Casey. Heard it. Come on, get back in here. Get out line of sight.
Yeah.
And now we're back at that elevator.
I need about 10 more resist if anybody's got it.
Well, come in here where the elevators are. Get out of line of sight and pull.
Gotta break that line of sight. It's a good call for Badger. Yeah, it's one thing you can stand in there and take a beating, but if you don't have to, then why?
I think we got it.
Yeah, Stormy's like it tight. Bring him in here.
Yep.
Just Stormy sayings. Stormy's like it's tight. Stormy's do it from the front.
The other guy behind me is just circling around. I don't know if he's just a stray.
Come on.
Control is
Uh-oh.
incoming in 10 seconds.
Oh Lord.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Come back to this side. Oh no. Let's get. He's in trouble.
Our tank is stuck again somewhere.
All right, we have aggro at the elevator.
Aggro Vader. We should probably teleport Badger out of there. I don't even know where the hell he is.
I've got this side. I'll be good for a minute or two.
All right.
Yeah, it's like I stick out. If I don't have somebody taking aggro off me, I get hurt.
Man, I can't get the fuck out of here. If you could teleport me, please.
Okay.
Now watch it. We're gonna have a lot of aggro coming up.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
No, it'd be this hallway right here with probably behind
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, they may. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here they are. Here they are.
they're coming on both sides. Let's hang out at the Vader.
Yeah, get to the Veda.
Yeah, see again, man. We're getting pinched.
Oh, you know, it'd probably help if I turned my friggin' shields on. Not that I'm taking a lot of shots, but when I do, nice.
Dang, I'm a big shot. Frickin' Nate's down. I don't even know where he is. Where are you, Nate? He's over to the left somewhere, I think.
Not that I'm taking a lot of shots, but when I do,
Boom, he's down. I think that's our third team death at this point. Died once. They're breaching. And I think this is a good defensible position here. You got a narrow door. You got a exit with the elevators to get out of here. We can just drop stuff in front of us to keep them on their back. Narrow space.
yeah, I'm just.
Shoot. I see purple. If it's purple, we can kill it.
I got nothing for a hand.
Throw some pets in the mix.
What do we got in there?
Uh-oh.
Nate's down again. So what's that, our fourth team death so far? So I think we've had 4 team deaths here, and my own, that's 5. And of the 5 deaths, 4 of them have been just like in this hallway here. This hall down below. So we barely moved from this elevator position, and it's just a freaking meat grinder. Nate's down again. We're just fighting and trying to get stuff pushed back. I'm guessing there was patrol, ambush, something's coming through. I think we finally... Shit, there goes Badger Bear again. Let me back that up a little bit. I think we won. So we finally cleared this elevator area, it looks like.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen beyond, like, this hallway. Now, Badger Bear, where is he?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Uh-oh.
I keep going the wrong direction. I'm sure, boom, he's dead.
Uh-oh.
Right, he's out of the sight, though. I can't see him. It's a patrol that's on him, or a
10
ambush.
seconds for van jumps.
And it's the 5th ally death. So it just keeps never ending. So multiple deaths within this one area. That seems to be the way these things go. Like you're running smooth and all of a sudden you hit an area, a patch that is just brutal. The map layout, this is what I was talking about in the defensive stat analysis. This mission 3 becomes really dangerous and deadly, and I think it was a lot of it had to do with geometry, the layout. And I think it's true. I mean, we're really not able to leverage the space too well because you can't see anything, and people are dying before you can get control on them or support. Yeah, so maps are definitely issues with a lot of these missions. Sometimes you get a bad draw. This map is just ugly. Finally cleared this room.
All right, which way are we going?
You.
Yep. They like you.
This is a great spot to get him. That's a good move by Badger Bear there. And where he pulled him is perfect for us to just hit him in the side.
I got to be racking up some good damage stats now.
We're going to find out. Take a look at those stats.
That reason.
I think I'm going to out damage the blaster again.
You probably will. I've been hiding behind you in there.
Here, guys.
Going up.
Girls?
Jesus. Look at that, dude.
I've been hiding behind you, Mo.
Just picking up my trash, getting the kills.
Yeah,
He's getting his kill stealing back there.
throwing a black wand here and there, you know.
No, it means they're probably up here walking.
Apocalypse is always stealing all my kills.
Oh,
Find them.
Lord, I thought I was going to scout the side, and somebody just went super speeding through there.
Yeah, we got action down here.
action.
As a tank, you got to really rely upon your backup here to
More coming from upstairs.
save your ass a bunch. Like, you got to pop in there, get attention and a duck, and then assume that your teammates are going to jump on them.
I don't want to hear that.
I'll give them an invite.
They just keep coming.
Cool. Cold got dark. Where's that void bringer?
I don't know what the hell's shooting me. I'm just like taking random damage.
Shit, there's some guy in the corner there that's jacking my juice.
Is that who it is?
They've got a
On a
And I got him pinned back there, but he's doing something inappropriate to me.
they have some TA.
It's TNA, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, shit. This is dumping shit on these guys. Yeah, I'm just able to just keep throwing out damage. But look at this. Every time, like, she just keeps pumping through here. I'm getting hit.
That's too hot for TV right there.
Girls gone wild.
801 style.
Hey,
Got enough of this.
Going up armor. I felt that.
Boom, 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 boom. It's like a, I don't even know what's going on in there. Every time I even remotely get out in the open. Boom, there goes Nate.
Oh man, it's going down here, guys.
On that vengeance.
yeah.
Dream on.
Didn't catch that vengeance for some reason.
That's it. I'm coming in.
Hey, to the god of death. Not today.
I got Cinders off again.
Not this time, man.
There's our 6th death right there. All right, finally clear that mess. Okay, I think this is the final area.
Guys over there.
I'm back.
Let them come in. My imps are gonna get themselves killed. That might be an example of where the imps actually saved, I don't say a life, but saved tank some damage, because most of those guys are coming in after Adventure Bear, and then all of a sudden the imps jumped out. At this point, I was just throwing imps in there. It's just some spare damage, knowing they're going to last about 10 seconds.
Fucking spines.
Some spiners quills is going off.
Yeah, we got the bush behind us. I'm pushing it out of my way.
Coming. Where?
I just pushed it out.
There's a shocker here. Yeah.
Just gonna retreat to this position here.
All right, should have a lot of them on us. Going back to this side.
Oh, hey, Apocalypse got to use one of his punches. So we're here in the glowies. It's the last room. And there's guys just coming out of the side. They start shooting me. 1, 2.
Some guys
Trying to get the debuff hurricane on him, but there's just...
naughty things. Yeah,
I
fuck.
couldn't get a good position to hide out.
There was a couple guys that are still down low when you guys went up, and I came up and I was pushing them up the steps, but they just kept shooting me. This ranger there by the pot.
Alright, so this is going to finally end this mission. Alright, that's mission 3. Alright, so the 4th and final mission is 8018. It's the only one in this category, Tier 4 Elite Bosses only. We're on this mission for over an hour, like 68 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm actually going to be wrapping this video up pretty soon, because we're going over 3 hours as it is with this analysis and reaction. But I did want to at least highlight a couple of the parts that were critical, because when we get in here, where is he at? Right here. I think Apocalypse makes a joke, or he's being serious, that this entrance, it's going to be 30 minutes just here at this entrance. And I think I kind of chuckled about it, but legit, about 30 minutes later, we finally clear this doorway. And I know, like, I think Linnea mentioned that most teams, they don't even get past this doorway, but you could see what it is up here. If I kind of show what's going on here, if I can get a good picture of it. But there is, it's like one of these helicopter bays, right? And so we're just keep taunting, pulling guys into this hallway here, and just concentrate dropping bombs on them. And that's about, I don't know, I mean, 30, I don't know if 30 minutes is an exaggeration, but it's a long time. We're just in here fighting and fighting and fighting. Keep bringing them in. And we have some deaths, of course. Nate's goes down. Anytime we kind of get out too far, we have to push or pull back again, almost to the exit. We just sit there and just keep pulling and pulling and pulling. I wonder exactly how long it is that we're at this door. Still at the door. We're still in this doorway. Now we're starting to come out of the doorway. It looks like finally come out of the doorway. Then I think we go back to the doorway. All right, so I think we finally. Anyway, somewhere around here, right? And we're like, yeah, it's like 21 or an hour and 35. So we're, yeah, 20, 30 minutes. We're sitting in that entranceway, battling. We finally make it past. They've cleared it out. And, you know, you get to these intersection areas. And then there's another one of those kind of big warehouse rooms. And so we start working that one as well. Fighting. And at some point, I think, get pushed from here, maybe? We get pushed back to that doorway again. But yeah, we're sitting there just pulling this whole room and clearing it. And I know maybe from external here, you're like, oh yeah, that's just the same over and over again. When you're doing this, you're not, it's not in your mind. You're just like surviving, trying to fight, claw, and scratch for every inch of space. And a lot of times you have to stand your ground for 30 minutes before you can actually finally move into space. I mean, these 801s are not giving you an easy pass. So we finally get that room cleared. Right, still working on the second big warehousey hangar place. It's been almost 40 minutes at this point. Yeah, about 40 minutes. We've got those two things. Now we get into those what do we call it? Kind of like figure eight sort of hallways. I don't know if it's figure eight, but it kind of, does this sort of thing. It comes out the other side. You come down here, right? There's the room here with people. It's kind of one of these things. I think there's like a back-to-back one of them or whatever. The keyhole or whatever. So you got this nonstop just battling. I get killed here again. It's like the same place, I swear, that Shimmer, my cold controller, got killed. We're pushing through. I might just post this mission as a separate thing because it's just nonstop fighting. And I died again. I ended up only dying a couple times, so it wasn't too bad. But I think that, yeah, this was the part where we got overran. I think we'll just keep backing up, if I'm not mistaken. Let me play this.
This side.
Oh, great. Damn, those imps got wrecked. Yeah, so we're on the other side of that keyhole room. Oof.
They're leaking from the side.
Yeah, they're coming in behind us. Ambush, I think. Yeah, look at this group. Yeah, rear. You guys are taking it in the rear. Look out. Look at this, dude. This is just...
Oh no.
Yeah, you better back up.
All right. I have no idea where I am.
Yeah. Everybody back up.
Yeah, it's a jailbreak, man. Jailbreak.
I'll TP when I get there. Back to the door.
All right. I'm gonna try to hold them at this door right here.
I'm TPing, so you guys get here.
Teleporting the Badger.
Oh. There you go.
Okay, I'm TPing.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
too late.
Oh,
Badger.
End of days.
God damn it. I cut it too fucking short.
Yeah, you were too brave on that one. So we get pushed all the way back to the frickin' start room, right? We're 43 minutes into this mission at this point. We're back to the start. And I think we tried it. Okay, so then we move back up.
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah, it's like we're intercepting that ambush. This is on the other side of that big hangar room.
Blood was my assault. A lot of times.
There's more guys coming.
Oh, don't you hate that?
Yeah, I feel like I got guys all around me still. There's guys in our
backside as well. A couple of them.
Try to keep them on their back if I can.
Try to push them. Push them up. Push them in.
Always just choking with these guys.
Dude, the frick.
I think they got speed boost or something.
This is bad.
Yeah. We're losing containment. We might have to back up to our safety
I'm
spot.
losing the fence.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and back up again.
Okay.
Yeah, look at this.
I'm pulling up the fence. Go ahead and back up.
We're back at the freaking beginning again.
I'm sealed for a few minutes, maybe.
I'm in the waiting
Nope,
room.
they've still got me.
These guys are just shooting me somehow. All right, so now we're back at the beginning again. Ambush came and just pushed us all the way back. It's 45 minutes into the mission.
Oh shit!
It's just like people are taking almost one-shotted.
Uh-oh.
Tank is down.
Oop, don't hit me. Don't hit me again.
Looking gnarly.
Dude, they keep hitting me.
Now it's just like hunker down.
Stop hitting me. Who the fuck is that? Get this guy off me. Stop hitting me.
Don't look like he wants to.
Trying to get some hurricane debuff on them.
Dude, they're fast. I don't know what crack they're on.
Look at these
but
guys are just
running
racing.
Crazy.
You hear me?
Dude, look at all these guys.
I've got a whole bubble of that.
Need it. Good badge.
Whatever.
That's a hard tune to get dead on.
Mm. You have a point.
Look at this dude is non-stop.
Motherfuckers, look at me. Come over here.
This is crazy. Look at this. Over and over. Huge hits coming in. Another one.
Stop that.
Some rad stuff just freaking flying.
Not to get better.
All right, I gotta get back.
It's like the endless wave here.
Oh, Nate's getting wrecked. See, everybody's just trying to like nibble as much as they can and get out of the way.
Forgetting this is all
If
ED.
we didn't have the knockback, let's be real.
Trying to freaking tank this shit. I'm thinking.
It would be over. I mean, the only thing holding them back is the fact that they're flopping on like Bonfire and shit. I mean, dude, it's just flopping and flopping and flopping in there. I mean, that's it. If there wasn't the KB, the constant flop, they'd be running right up to us because the rest of my controls aren't gonna do anything. I'm not able to mobilize them. +4 EBs. Nah, they're running right through that stuff. So these guys are just coming and coming and coming. They'd be all over us. They would chase you out the door. So I think, chalk up Storm as a great mitigator in this specific scenario. I don't think too many other sets could be able to do this. And that's really Storm exactly. A Bonfire Storm combos, Bonfire Tornado, right? I mean, these things are teaming up nicely here. One thing else I could think might be like Earth control with earthquake or something might be able to pull off something like this. Throw quicksand in there, slow them down. I don't know. But yeah, it's just brutal non-stop. Anyway, let's go take a look at the stats I want to cover the rest of this vid here, the offensive stuff. So lethality, number of foes that Scouring's racking up. I mean, it's you can see, I mean, the early missions are pretty good. 106, 185 for that second mission, where this would have been like his peak stable performance. And then you get into when the enemy starts swinging back, I drop off, but still doing a good job just taking people down. And the rates are pretty solid. 3, 4 foes a minute. But then notice, mission 4 when we're taking EBs only and we're having to backpedal a lot, things are dropping off pretty dramatically. So that's a huge drop right there. So there's a lot of variability within the mission. I think mission 3 kind of dropped off as well, just because I wasn't able to get good lines of sight on stuff with the way that map was laid out. But the kill share, I think, is another huge story. You look at Scouring Sands here, he's got the yellow colors. If all things are even, you're expecting, hey, he'll get a fifth of the kills. And for the most part, yeah, he did. But in 2 of the missions, he's pushing 30, 35%. So he's outperforming several of his, teammates here. Now, again, it's not that you're trying to be some glory hound, but it's just that it's showing you this controller combo is able to put out some good, at least kill shots. I think our blaster is the this dark blue here. I think that's Vile Maiden's numbers right there, and I think our stalker was these pink numbers. So, and get up to the stalker. His stats are pretty solid. I mean, as good as my controllers. If you were to ask somebody that, hey, who's gonna out damage who or out kill who, probably people, oh well, stalker. But then you say, well, you're against +4 EBs. Oh shit, the controller. But I mean, both of them are pretty even with each other. Your tank and your Veet were tanking and debuffing, so they're not laying out a bunch of damage, but they're contributing. So anyway, strong kill pressure missions 1 to 3, but the early tier enemies are just dying more quickly. So you got the fire and the storm DOTs allowing him to get a lot of little kills and stuff. And then as your enemy's resistance, their durability increases, his share is dropping. And I think that's just because you're more of an attritional killer with Firestorm than, boom, spiky kind of damage. But the correlation wasn't super strong, so it's more mission difficulty, map layout, I think, enemy strength than anything about the time of the missions. Then we look at the threat, his damage output numbers. I think you see a similar kind of story here, where the early missions, you're kind of on the low end. It's maybe just not taking as much damage to defeat foes, so you don't have to do as much damage per minute. But then you can see that he can really ramp it up. I mean, he can double his output when you get into these missions 3 and 4, when the enemies are a lot tougher. And look at the total amount of damage he's having to put out: 200,000, 350,000. Combined 700k. I'm curious to see what the other characters were damage outputting. Sometimes Apocalypse runs Sithlin's tool with his, so I wonder what his total damage was on this particular set of missions. I don't know if he recorded or not, but I mean that's pretty solid. I mean, average 3,800 per minute. All right, so he's throwing out damage, and that's what I built him to do, to be a damager. Use his controls and his debuffs to just put some pain on concentrated targets. As long as they stayed in a lump, he could lay it out there. Correlation's pretty strong. A couple missions low, but for the most part, we're locked in on this damage output. And the slope on this line is actually better than the average. We got like 4,400 versus the 38, but correlation isn't perfect. So what do we got here? Very high damage total. His DPM, it's doubling in those later missions, so he's able to ramp up as the mission's intensity gets higher, which was needed. But even that wasn't ultimately enough for mission 4 when the team gets overrun. I didn't even show you the worst of the ambushes. The last one was just a steamroller came. Right when a steamroller was like a freaking avalanche hit us. Damage output, scaling with mission duration, 0.88 R squared on that one. Steady, sustained contributor for the damage. He's not bursting, but he's just constantly putting out ticks of damage. Freezing rain, bonfire, tornado, fire cages, right? Just chick, 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 ticking away. Kill contributions, because he's got the continuous damage, pressure damage. He's not necessarily just last hit luck. He's just constantly applying damage, and he's getting his kills through it. It's just driving down the enemy's health, tick after tick after tick. But damage output is going up pretty huge in 3 and 4 missions, but the kill rate's dropping in 4. So I think you're seeing he's hit a wall. The enemy toughness in 4 is so high that his damage output, regardless of how much it is, it's just not high enough. So it's like he's hit a damage cap. I think that's something you can kind of see here. If we go back and look at these numbers now with that in mind, his damage rate is ticking up a little bit more. You know, he went up to 5,200. He punches it up a little bit higher, but the kill rate, if you come back over here, drops off immensely, right? So he's on the damage side, he's gone from, you know, X amount of damage to 2X for mission 3, and it stays about 2X on mission 4, but his defeat rates are dropping from, you know, if 4 is your X value, he's about a quarter. So even though, you know, he's doubled his damage from the initial couple missions, he's only getting about a quarter of the kills now. Now again, it's not all about it's not all about the kills, but it's just his damage is not translating anymore into those defeats. Part of that could be pets are just being slaughtered, so he's not getting much contribution out of them. The enemy's got more hit points. Maybe he's unable to really kind of leverage a lot of the debuffing that he was before. You also had just the overruns from the ambushes, and we're constantly playing back up and get out of the way. So there's a lot of factors that could be playing into that. All right, disruption is control rate. This is the stat that the controllers have been, you know, winning hands down as they should. His control number, so this is crazy. I mean, well, it's a little bit misleading. You know, he's starting off with in the 1,000, 1,300, 1,900, somewhere in there. His rate's in the 40 per minute, so 40 some controls a minute. That's a lot, right? But the reason is because a lot of it is KB, and a lot of the KB ticks are from the bonfire, the constant chick 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 as those people are falling and flopping. Same thing with freeze and rain. You're getting these constant knockdown effects being applied. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that people were falling down. It depends on their level of resistance, but the procs, essentially the knockdown procs, the power of trying to knock something down was just ticking away nearly once every second. It's pretty darn close. But then check this out. In the later missions, right, he's like 2.5 times a minute. So he's almost quadrupling. 3 to 4 times more controls a minute are happening in these later missions. So he's ramping up his controls. Now, doesn't mean I'm literally trying to control more. It just means I'm attacking more, which is why my damage is going up, which is why my controls are going up, because my controls are my damage. So everything is just correlating together. As those missions got harder, I'm just firing and firing and firing more damage, more defeats, at least in mission 3, more controls are being thrown out there, but they're not landing, killing things in that 4th mission. So extremely high control volume, over 19,000 total controls. I don't think my defenders can come anywhere close to that, but we'll see. You know, it depends on the ratio of storm versus bonfire, really. But he had a couple of spikes in missions 3 and 4 that explain this the steep rise in that graph. Like normally, if you'd just gone by the initial couple missions, right, you'd be down here going through the origin, but all of a sudden we're ramping up that slope tremendously because those last couple of missions were just cranking it out. So he's able to put out a lot of the soft control as long as the enemy is dense, like density packed. I think that's something else that is true. As the missions get harder, it seems there's more targets, like the more masterminds or something like that, pets and things. So there's just more things to hit and defeat. So you're able to score more hits. Like every time your AoE is out, it's like hitting its max cap, target cap. Correlation 0.85. Right, control output is scaling with missions. It's length. It's not just random. And we're getting about 120 controls a minute if you average that out. So he's got constant battlefield interference, steady disruption, and he's just overwhelming control saturation in the last couple of missions. Did it make a difference? Does it matter? I mean, that's kind of interpretable, I guess, or depends on the way you see it. I don't think necessarily in the last mission it was doing much, but there definitely was a lot of knockdown happening. It just wasn't killing and clearing the way you'd need it to be. All right, so looking at blunting and prevention, here's where you're looking at those disruption rates, those controls per minute versus his own damage taken resilience, and the number of times the team was defeated, himself included. So we take a look, does his controlling mean anything? We have pretty decent correlation with blunting. There is a relationship between control output and damage input. And this goes with the idea that, hey, if he's in a fight, he's attacking, he's controlling at the same time as he's taking damage. So there is pretty good correlation there. It looks like there's a couple of damage per control that he's throwing out there per control minute. And then we've got prevention. There again, correlation as team defeats are increasing, so is this disruption. It's not because he's not trying, right? He is unloading like everything, and bodies are just still dropping. You're in a fight, damage is coming in. So damage taken is proportional to the disruption level, it looks like. He's controlling while being attacked. He's not hiding around a corner and not getting hit. Blunting, it matches this idea of this controller working in the mid-range, right? He's soft controller and he's taking hits at the same time. So he's trading. There doesn't seem any evidence of like a protective spike in the data. The controls aren't more controls and suddenly you're seeing less damage. There's no correlation like that. But that's because controls are damage, and at the same time, you're not just one-shotting people, so you're going to take damage in return. And allies' defeats are even more strongly correlating with his disruption, so he's ramping up his control efforts as the team is struggling. As the team is under pressure, he is firing out everything that he can. Prevention slope. Highest control bursts are coinciding with the mission's most dangerous moments. So playstyle, disruption's going up when the survivability of the team is under threat. And his disruptive volume, though, it's not preventing anybody from dying, but it's increasing because there are defeats happening. He's retaliating as much as he can. Then we take a look at the offensive aspect of these controls, debilitation and devastation. So controls versus output damage and controls versus his foe defeats. So we take a look at these numbers. We've got strong correlation. Again, controls are increasing as damage is increasing because his controls are damage. More foes are being defeated as control numbers are going up. This is not a strong correlation at all. It's quite weak, 0.4. So foe defeats are not strongly matching his control numbers. So he's getting control out there, but it's not necessarily doing the coup de grace on people. So strong correlation with the controls and damage output. Firestorm is synergizing. Controls are the damage. The slope, every additional control is giving you a substantial increase. So every time you throw out another control per minute, you're getting more, another 36 damage per minute. So all those patches, the imps, the tornado, the knockdown, it's all just amplifying and multiplying the DPS. And his highest damage missions are coinciding with the highest control missions because, again, they're the same thing. And there's weak correlation, as we said, with his controls and damage, or sorry, defeats of enemies it's just not lining up. And Mission 4 is probably one of the big reasons why. Mission 4, right? He's got tons of controls, but not getting many kills at all. Those enemies are just too tough. That's where I think defenders can show themselves, because if defender percents matter, they should matter here at this extreme higher tier stuff. Those extra 10, 15%, damage resistance, debuff resistance, those types of things. If those can help melt through or amplify the damage output of the defender, then you should see it at that extreme level. And I think that's what I'm kind of been noticing, is that controllers are ramping up, but then they plateau, they hit a wall. They can only go so high. Once their controls cease to control because the enemy's just too tough, then the enemy's now free to do what it wants. Defeat the team, defeat the controller, damage people. You're still going to get the damage output, but it's not enough to stop targets. I think defenders might be able to ramp up more steeply and more steadily under these extreme circumstances. So anyway, let's get on to the last couple stats here. Efficiency. Here we're taking a look at the threat versus resilience. So the damage out versus damage in. Strong correlation here. So when he's under attack, he's attacking, and vice versa. That's what we're seeing here. And the ratios are interesting, that again, we're starting off kind of steady, 7-7, and we're ramping up the ratio, right? We're doing more output versus in as we go. And it's just showing he's rising to the challenge with this particular build, right? You see those damage numbers increasing. The damage input is also increasing, generally speaking, but not at the same pace as the damage output. So he's just like going up with his damage output, where his damage input is more like this. So consistently, he's dealing more personal damage than he's taken. On average, 13-to-1 ratio. So for every point he's taken, he's dishing out 7 to 18 more points in return. And his effectiveness is steadily improving across that run. As enemy density is getting higher, the duration of the missions is getting higher, the chaos factor is increasing. He seems to be performing better and better as things get crazier, which kind of, again, fits the idea of the storm and just throwing stuff around in every direction. But he's like almost the calm in the middle of the storm. And Mission 4 is that highest ratio there. He's scaling up like crazy. There's super intense. You saw the fighting. It was just nonstop, just throwing everything down. There really wasn't much maneuverability in those that last mission. It was just attritional, pounding each other in the head as much as you could until somebody stopped moving. So it doesn't have any flat missions either. Everything is showing this correlation of output is higher to input over and over. So combine all this offensive information together. He's escalating pressure as a controller, and his damage, his controls, his disruption are all intensifying as the mission's difficulty's going up. Total damage output accelerates dramatically in those tougher missions. He's going from 2,000 damage a minute in those early missions up to 5,600 per minute. It's crazy. Output of the controls, that's also surging in the high pressure encounters. It goes from 48 a minute to 150 a minute. His damage is scaling perfectly with those controls. His disruption is his offense. They're not separate from each other. And he's got high efficiency, again, 13 to 18 times. He's thrown out tons of damage through the Firestorm combo. He's thriving in these high pressure windows when things are just stacked up in front of them. He's just unleashing an exceptional efficiency even when he's under fire. So very happy with this guy's performance. I think they did an excellent job. The mission Mission 4, we ended up quitting it early. Lenny had to leave early before we finished it, and I originally was chalking it up to say, hey, we would have beat it, but spoiler, we ran this with the defender. I think it's roughly that same exact mission, and we got to the same exact point with the defender version, and something happened that has changed my mind about this particular run. don't think we would have actually beaten this mission in hindsight after what happened with the defender. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you think that ambush was bad that pushed us back to the door, you ain't seen nothing. Watch the Sycorax video coming up. All right, so let's close this out. Let's wrap this up. Last thing we want to talk about is the pet statistics here. The pets were a minor factor, which is surprisingly low for what I've seen so far with these pets. I guess I'm not that surprised. Imps just don't have a lot of stick-to-itiveness. They can't hang with the big boys. So here we go. We're looking at pet loyalty, pet sacrifice, pet damage taken versus character damage taken, and also team defeats. So if we got our character damage numbers are here, the pet damage numbers are here. So we're kind of comparing these two things. The total damage, and we add these two together. This is what you're seeing here. But these are the pets percent and the controller's percent. So if you take the individuals and divide it by the total, your pets are taking nearly 80% of the damage. Now, that doesn't mean instead of the controller. It just means when they're all on the field together, the pets are essentially getting hit for 4 times more damage than the controller is. Now, the imps, probably because they're going into melee and getting slammed, also because your pets don't have the level of damage resistance and defense that your character does. So they're just going to take a bigger beating. I don't necessarily think that it means tanking. I don't think you could prove that. So anyway, here's what we got. Pet loyalty correlation is very strong. So as pets are taking damage, controllers taking damage, or vice versa. It's almost lockstep. Same thing with pet resilience and team defeat. So as pets are taking more damage, the team's death rate is climbing. That's because more damage is coming in to everybody. So they're not separate. So this is where I think you would see that tankiness. If the pet's damage is increasing and the slope is, less or more shallow, I think you'd say, oh yeah, those imps are tanking or something. I don't think that's true. I think they're just taking the same beating as everybody else. They don't have the survivability as everybody else does. So pet resilience, correlations, shared exposure is what we're seeing here. They're under the same environment. They're both getting hit. Pets are taking the majority of the incoming damage though. Now, that could be because of their behavior, right? The imps are just jumping in there. Maybe the enemy AI is making them target the imps. I don't know. Something's going on there. And pet damage is surging in the same mission windows where the allies are being defeated. So the pets are getting even more exposure possibly during those danger moments. Maybe they're just too dumb. They don't know to get out of the way, right? They're not going to duck around a corner. They're going to charge out and attack. The correlations indicating the pets are in the thick of combat when the missions are getting riskier, which is, kind of what you want, I guess, at least with these imps. You want them to get their face in there, deal some damage, do as much as they can before they die. So I don't think they're preventing the defeats, though, just that they happen to just correlate. It's at the same time as things are going bad, the pets are getting lumped. Pet aggression, savagery, this is the offensive metrics for these pets. So if we're taking a look at damage output this time, so we get our characters damage, we get our pets damage, adding those together, right? That's the total damage output for the missions that I already reported. But now we got the percentages again. So of the total damage, what percent is what? I mean, this is really, really weak for controller pets. I've got 3 imps. I've got a couple lore pets. I think only one of them was actually an attacking. But I've got 3 to 4 pets out at any given time, and they're only accounting for about 1/10 of my total damage output. Either this controller is just doing a crap ton of damage on his own, or these pets are just not that good. And I think it's the latter more than the former. We'll see when I take a look at the defender numbers as well. Plus, we need to compare this controller to other controllers. But right now, this is on the lowest end of controller. This is like bad defender pet numbers. I think even worse than I think my stalker pets were about 10% routinely. So this is really, really low for them. So if we take a look, though, there is correlation as the pet damage goes up. So does the character's damage. It's just not a lot of damage. That's all. And then we don't have correlation, though, between pet damage and foe defeats, which I'm not terribly shocked because the pets weren't doing a lot of damage percentage-wise, and they were getting killed a lot. They were taking a lot of damage. So they just weren't on the field very often to really start landing killing blows at anybody. So if we take a look at the correlation numbers here, we can see that, as our controllers numbers are ramping up, so are the pets. There's very strong synchronicity there between those two numbers. And again, our damage output's not that great. Okay, he's putting out about 10 units of damage versus his pet's 1, somewhere around there. And the pets are scaling damage with the mission's intensity. So what we're seeing here is their highest output is happening in the same missions where Scouring Sands is putting out the most damage. So the two of them are ramping up at about the same time. So they're not just passively hanging out in the back. They're in there in the thick of it. As his dropping bonfires and freezing rains, those pets are diving in there attacking as well. And it just matches what you would expect from Firestorm. The pets are just an extension of your fire attacks. They're an extension of your storm powers. Mission 1, take a look at that. There's high kill count there, but not much pet damage. And Mission 3 is showing high pet damage but few kills. So that's why there's this weak link between the pet damage and the kill conversions. You can see that. I don't think it's on this one. I have to zip all the way back up. But anyway, yeah, they're not seeing strong correlation. So sometimes the mission, right, the pets are putting out a lot of damage, not getting a lot of kills. Sometimes they're not putting out a lot of damage, but they're getting a lot of kills. It just doesn't match. So they're going to chip in 10+%, but it's not going to, assassinate a bunch of enemies for you. And then a pet effectiveness, if we just look at their output, their damage out versus their damage in, it's really poor. It's almost one to one. I mean, it's terrible. They're just taking, sorry, not even 1 to 1. They're taking almost 0. Look how low these numbers are. So they're just taking way more damage than they're putting out. I dare say that if you didn't take fire imps, you probably wouldn't notice. Let's be honest. And that's a question, right? Because maybe I'd take a different power, right? Maybe I'd take something else that replaces this damage, because this isn't a lot, right? Is there another power I could take that would get me a 10% damage boost? Because if there is, I should take it, because the imps are sucking it. So I'd have to go back and look. Was there something else from Energy Mastery? Was there something else from Storm I could have taken? Or maybe I'd take O2 boost and have a protection power to keep allies alive. I don't know. I could have taken Thunderclap. You know what actually be a good one is, let's look at Hot Feet. I did not take Hot Feet, remember. Now, I wasn't in melee much, but I wonder, would Hot Feet slotted with the same number of slots that Imps had, would that have done this level of damage? Maybe. I don't know. I could have maybe leveraged melee positioning more had I done so. Switch off Hurricane, maybe fire up Hot Feet, dive in there to get some damage. Possible. It would have been risky, but it's something to examine. So that's why this is very disappointing, because if you're not getting a decent chunk of damage from your pets, then why bother even taking them? So that's what we're seeing here. They're pretty much occupying a space, or they're taking, they're in danger. Is it saving anybody? Is it mitigating any damage for you? Maybe. Is it impossible to quantify? Yeah, I don't really think you can. You have to go back and examine the video minute by minute and try to figure out when they're distracting an enemy enough that it makes a difference. But they're really not getting efficient DPS out of them. And again, we've got pretty predictable poor performance. You can see that, they are attacking, they're taking hits, they're throwing themselves into the fight. That's why they're getting killed. So they're getting some hits in, but then they're just getting lumped. All right, so combined insights on these pets. Here we go. His pets for under high exposure. I don't even say they're always active. They're always active while they're alive. So they're absorbing a lot of incoming fire. Their offense is scaling up as his is scaling up. They are giving you steady damage when they're alive, but low efficiency. And so there may be a good barometer of danger. Like when they're in trouble, yeah, the team's gonna be in trouble. You know, they're not really going to give you too much, but they're consistent. So as he goes up, they go up. So at least you can say that about them. But yeah, they're taking a huge ton of damage versus him. Hopefully enough to actually save him a little bit. And again, they are going to ramp up. They do respond to the fight. They are going to give you an extra 10, 15%. So I guess it's nothing to complain about if you get extra damage. And if you don't have another option for damage, then maybe. Big picture, what does this all mean? Scouring Sands, pressure driven, escalation based controller, offense, control, survivability, pet synergy, they're all intensifying as the missions are getting more dangerous. And his kit, this combination of his powers, is hitting peak performance in these high density, high pressure environments. I'd say Mission 3 is probably his most defining, like just output as far as, damage and just threat. Or Mission 2 might be his defining safety level. Mission 4, he kept that damage output of Mission 3, but his damage in and deaths was higher. So it's kind of ends up pushing him back. I think Mission 3 might be about his peak of performance, that 8016 that he was running. So we're seeing his damage outputs accelerating dramatically in those higher missions. You saw way more damage. But again, because the missions ran longer, the enemies were tougher, they needed more damage. But it's just showing he is capable of just increased levels of damage. He's thriving on the chaos. He's thriving on the density of the enemies. Exactly when the difficulty is peaking, he's peaking in response to that. You see his control saturation is just exploding as those missions intensify. The controls are not hard controls, though. They're soft controls, but I think soft controls are a key performance metric here in these 801s. I think they're more important than holds because holds are so hard to maintain against the higher level foes. Plus, for EBs, you basically cannot control them with any sort of hard controls. Maybe fear might work on these guys pretty well. I haven't tried it yet. So anyway, he's not just using his controls in these harder missions. He's just flooding the entire field with storm effects, fire, you name it, just creating this huge disruption field to then just punish people in it. And I think this benefits my teammates too. If my teammates have some AoEs to capitalize on these disrupted foes in the middle, I would love to see my blasters numbers to see if that matches anything that I'm doing. Any correlation between this would be a great study. Be a correlation study between, let's say, my control output and a blaster's damage output. Is there any sort of match there? That'd be interesting to see if that's true or not. Anyway, then the other thing is that we also see his damage controls. You can't separate the two. This has been true of all my controllers at this point. Almost perfect correlation. Controlling damage is because of disruption. They're the same thing. It's a unified engine. So crowd control, DPS, same thing. Fourth thing is he's maintaining exceptional personal efficiency, right? He's outputting 13 to 18 times the damage he's taken. So he's not a liability to the team whatsoever, even though he's, relatively speaking, the softest member of the team. He's got probably the lowest defenses, lowest resistance, lowest hit points, more likely than not on that entire squad, but he's not getting his butt handed to him and getting scraped off the floor every 5 seconds. A lot of that just has to do with, well, combination one is just your own personal positioning. Notice I was trying to stay back, minimize incoming angles and fire on my character, plus just the fact that you're relying upon your team to do the stuff that they're supposed to do, tanking, blasting stuff, killing stuff, debuffing things, frees you up to do your jobs. I think a lot of that has to go to how the team is performing. If you're on a pug who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, these numbers are going to drop big time. That might even be a fun study, be to take each one of these DEFCONs at some point and run these missions again with just some complete randos and just, one mission just to see what the heck happens. Maybe do one of these 8016s as a good metric, or even the tier 2 stuff, just to see what goes on, see if there's any massive deterioration in output. I would bet there is. And then his pets, they're taking a lumping, right? Is it protective? Probably not, but they're definitely in the thick of things. It is scaling up with the danger of the mission. They are giving steady DPS. I mean, at least they're doing something out there. So maybe they're soaking some damage. They're putting out some damage. You know, you can't fault them. They were doing a little bit extra. They might have helped the melee guys a little bit, distracting some of the targets. I don't know. But just when they got into the thick of things and there was some AoEs coming in, they were just getting destroyed. Well, there you go. That is that. Scouring Sands, fire control, storm summoning, energy mastery, in all its glory. I think he was a really strong character, and I wouldn't have a problem playing him again outside of these things. He's actually pretty good. He's fun. Aside from the visibility issues, I mean, you're going to get offense out of this guy. You're going to get mitigation, and all of that without any sort of heals or shields. I think he kind of illustrates that side of support. You don't need pretty green numbers, a bunch of bubbles to keep your team going. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll check you in the next video. I'm going to go ahead and break down Sycorax's performance. That's my defender with Storm Summoning, and see how that stacks up here to Scouring Sands. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.